How about now?
There you go.
What up, stream? Welcome back to another Tuesday paint sesh with your boy, Scott the Miniature Maniac. How you guys doing today? We got a sub from Atsu333 with the Prime sub. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Lunar Magic, or sorry, Magi 42. Thank you for the sub. Moist indeed. Hesher, Mafk. How you guys doing this weekend? If you're in America, hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving celebration. Major Noob, thank you for the sub. Paint stream interfering with my tup watching. Well, this is live, so this takes precedence. Jay Schaefer 9, thanks for a sub. Is that the Schaefer? The one and only? Here's a satisfying sound for you this Tuesday. Oh! Haven't got a face reveal? He did. He's been seeing his face for a while now. Oh, thank you for the sub as well. PDX Raven, appreciate it. Oh. We're back. Let's argue more about Rings of Power.
Let's not, because I haven't watched it yet still.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm curious what you'll think. I didn't get any amazing hobby Black Friday deals, but I'm curious, Evan, did you get any Black Friday deals for the hobby?
I mean, I told you I'm a Greyjoy player now.
Yeah. Supposedly.
I'm also a Stark player now.
Okay.
And a Free Folk player now.
Okay, so you bought some Liddy discounted models?
I may have bought a lot of Song of Ice and Fire stuff.
Okay.
The only faction I don't have is Baratheon, and that's because I keep telling Michael to sell me his Baratheon since he never plays. Otherwise, I would have bought those too. Yeah, I got a problem.
Army Painter's got a problem. Why is this happening?
What'd you do?
I mean, I just saw that the ferrule was loose, and I wiggled it a little bit, and it popped right off. Not really a problem. You can just glue it back on if it's really going to be an issue, and it probably will.
Scott's breaking his brushes.
Classic, yes, of course. I got a Photon Mono 4K. MCP was 50% off yesterday. I picked up the core set. Ooh, very nice. 3D printers and miniatures, all good Black Friday deals. I bought a bunch of hard drives and some home theater speakers. That's what I did. All right, as the title suggests, I'm assuming, I don't know what the title is actually. We are painting some Death Rattle skeletons today. All right. I've been painting these guys at my house for a while now. But I had to bring them in for an airbrush step. I don't really have an airbrush set up at my house at the moment, so I figured I would just paint them on stream today. And what we're doing is, we got home security system. Yeah, that stuff is always good to buy on sale. We're gonna dry brush some shields today. And I'm using a paper mask here because dry brushing, even when you are accurate with the dry brush, can tend to just get all over the place because the little pigments tend to fly around a bit. And so I just cut out this circular mask with some typical paper and I'm gonna dry brush these shields. Let's see how well this works. I don't care so much about the top side of the shield, more the part of the shield that is close to the body. On the other Death Rattle skeletons that I have, the ones that come in the actual box itself, a lot of their shields are pretty far away from the body, so this was not a thing I had to do. But for these skeletons that came out of the Cursed City box, a lot of their shields, they hold really close to their torsos, and so it was kind of more of a problem. This one's a little bit harder to get to because there's a friggin' sword scabbard in the way. Hopefully it won't be too challenging for the rest. It doesn't seem like it's really working anyways. All right, let me just finish up that spot. You know what?
Off to a good start.
I need a better, what I need is a smaller dry brush. Hilariously, the one that I brought home is the one that I need right now.
I think the answer is you need a bigger dry brush.
No. That is most certainly not the answer. Well, the one I want is at my house right now, and I don't have it. All right, let's see if this masking idea works on a smaller piece. Song of Ice and Fire, December 1st, let's go! Indeed.
Wait, I thought you switched that to Guild Ball. Or is that a different stream?
The first stream of the month is Song of Ice and Fire. The second stream, or the gaming stream, is Guild Ball.
Oh, all right.
All right. All right, just need some more paint, but this should probably work just nicely. This in this scenario is Evan or Scott the dog. Lol, or for the sub goal. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I should probably update that, huh?
No more Ares, Dog of War.
What are we doing for a goal today, Scott?
I don't know. I feel bad having another goal. I haven't fulfilled my last one yet.
Yeah, I know. When's that happen?
I don't know. Why are we on the wide cam?
I just switched back to it to test something.
Oh, okay. As you can see, I'm getting some gold on their fabric, and I would prefer that not to happen. And the paper thing isn't working, and so what I'm gonna try now to mask it off is just some poster putty, some poster tack. There are my tweezers. That way I can push it all the way up against the fabric and like make for certain that this isn't gonna happen. This is not an easy problem to solve right now. I'm gonna try to fix it with some like blue shading, but not easy to fix. All right, let's try again. A Song of Frosted Tips. Picked up the Photon Mono X on Black Friday. Almost bought a Conquest Starship, but the wife gave me the evil eye. Always gotta avoid that. Is an airbrush plus compressor a good present for someone who likes Warhammer? I don't really know anything about the hobby. Maybe it could be. Obviously, that's a very valuable tool, but you know, if someone's not necessarily interested in learning how to airbrush, it might not be super useful to that person. I think what they and most hobbyists would appreciate is probably just more miniatures for their armies that they play. But this all depends on the person. At the very least, that gift makes sense. All right. Cool. Takes a minute, jam some post tack in there. Dry brush away, take it off. GG.
The idiot painter says it would be easier for you to fix if you had a sweet new hairstyle.
Wait, fix the shield issue?
Yeah.
Oh yes, of course. Guy Fieri assists in all walks of life.
True.
Oh, with a pretty heavy dry brush here. Yeah, nice and clean. I've had to actively ask people to not get me minis so much as I'd appreciate it. I don't need more projects. I acquire those enough on my own. Yeah, that's definitely true as well. Like I don't really need any miniatures as well from other people for gifts, but I'm kind of at a point in my life where I don't really know what I want for gifts. Everything I want is wildly expensive.
I already got you your Christmas gift.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
I mean, I know it's a troll. The question is just figuring out what it is.
No, I don't get people troll gifts for Christmas.
Oh, what do you get? When do you get them troll gifts?
Birthdays.
Okay, all right. Someone asked if I'm using the silly putty poster tack masking trick.
Rufus, I can't get him a new chair because he's clinging to that chair that he's had for 20 years.
Yeah, no. My chair is perfectly fine. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's just, it doesn't work right, and it has no support, and the fake leather has worn off.
Yes. No, you could choose to have those all be problems, but I see them all as features. My
Okay.
rustic office chair.
I definitely think that overall Christmas is one of those holidays that's actually better off just being left for kids. But I happen to have a friend group that I think overall I can actually buy gifts for that people will appreciate, which is a rarity.
Okay.
And a big part of that is that my friend group is mostly child-free.
There you go.
Once people have kids, they just go, instead of getting me a gift, get something for my kid.
It's that sacrificial love. Also, I mean, I just don't need anything. Everything I want is so fucking expensive. I always ask my in-laws for like Blu-rays of movies that I really like, but then I never really end up watching them ever. So I don't know.
Yeah, when was the last time you actually watched a movie on disc?
Like 3 years ago. Not anytime recently.
Yeah.
What step are we on? We're just dry brushing some gold on these shields. And then I got a little intermediate airbrush step afterwards. And then probably some red highlights or some white highlights, one of the two. I don't have a primer color that matches the dark blue undercoat that I want to do on this model, but like in light of Goobs's discovery of primer not really doing anything for miniature painting adhesion, I was thinking I would just prime the models with the color that I base coat them with originally. This poster tack that I pulled out is a little bit moister, a little stickier. All right, nice and clean. I watch VHS tapes at the hunting shack. The hunting shack. Oh, is this like where you like post up when you're like on a hunting expedition? Looks more like museum putty than poster tack. You are correct. This is the museum putty, which I've always preferred to poster tack. Although, to be honest, I don't really like any of them for like painting handle purposes. I think none of them work very well. They all die slowly over time. Which I guess works fine on like a shorter paint job, but for like a longer paint job, not super convenient. Where I go to sit and not hunt. All right. Black with a gold dry brush? No, it's a navy blue. Navy blue with this this gold color that I really like called Necro Gold from Scale 75.
You're like obsessed with Necro Gold.
Yeah, it's great. That's what I use when I need gold. Literally ever. I'm just so sick of warm gold It's like
More gold is where it's at.
It's like the only kind of gold people paint ever. And I like to treat my metallics as like a neutral color that I can influence with other fun colors. Nice. Ooh. Okay, thank God that was post attack. Okay. Excellent. The keen-eyed observer among you may notice that I am painting only 9 skeletons and not 10. That's because I'm saving a 10th for the video that I want to talk about how I paint my skeletons. I did a lot of like different like attempts and tests to see what I would like. What basically is like the best use of my time to get the outcome that I want. Because these skeletons are, I mean, it seems kind of silly to make a video about painting skeletons, but these skeletons are majority not bone. So it's not like super straightforward about how to paint them. They have a lot of armor, a lot of fabric.
It could be more straightforward.
How's that?
I mean, you could just paint them all brown. The fabric could be brown. The bones could be a different brown.
I guess you could do that. That would not make for an interesting video, however.
That's true.
Brown boner boys. Brown boys.
Maybe that's the clickbait. I painted it all brown.
Yeah, if you want speed painting, here it is. Use one color.
Hope you like sepia.
Yeah.
It's how things looked in the 1920s, you know?
Yeah. That's what I always thought. People in the 1920s just saw everything in black and white vision. Oh man, this dry brush is so aggressive. It's like tearing the paint off on the tip of the shield. Might have to come back in with just a bit more gold to hit those tips. Alamo gifted a sub to Wolfie. Appreciate it, Alamo. Miniac giving me my crew boy scheme. Brown boys. I ordered some skeletons like 3 weeks ago. Still waiting for them to show up. Did you order them from GW's website or from somewhere else? Why did it take so long? You were not the only child to think the world was once devoid of color. You know what else has golden tips? Not my hair, let me tell you. Yet. I'm getting pretty good at masking off these shields with post attack.
Rufus, he says he's healthy, but he still sounds under the weather to me.
I mean, I was sick like over 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, I might have a little bit of a cough still left. I mean, I'm not really coughing at all. I find that like when I have a cold, the further away I get from when I actually like contracted the cold, like the further back like the phlegm sits in my throat. It's like initially it's like all in the front of my nose and it's like super easy to blow out. Then like the healthier I get, like the more it like moves back to like the back of my throat, and like the worse it is for actually like blowing it out of my nose. And that's sort of like kind of like hacking it up, like a pretty nasty. Viewer picking up a backlog golem shirt, appreciate that. I'm not sure if any of the viewers in chat had tried to update the viewer name and message when checking out on the web store, but I fixed it, or so I thought, and tested it, and it worked. So if you fill out the viewer name and a message in the checkout screen, it's not super obvious, you can have a message and name show up on stream when you buy something. Ron Robin, I got 10 skeletons off eBay for $15 a couple days ago. Nice. Are they the new skellies? Or are they some older ones or from a different manufacturer? Why? You like dwarves. Allegedly.
I like dwarves. I just don't really like the current GW dwarves.
That's fair.
No, I didn't buy a bunch more. It's just they had one of those boxes of Xandar's Truth Seekers and the two war bands, the ones I bought before.
Okay.
They had those on the super hyper clearance table at the source, and so I just bought them.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Even though I don't really need another Lantern Lady and Friends, I've got another Lantern Lady and Friends.
I'm always so sad. I'm never around for the Source's Black Friday sale because I'm always in Wisconsin, but I would love to do that. But luckily they have the Jubilee sale, which is just like right after.
Yeah, they just do the same thing again, basically.
Yeah. So it's never been too much of an issue for me. All right, last shield to dry brush. I agree, Rufus. He does have a problem. Definitely not enough dwarf miniatures out there.
It's all right. These ones, I just plan to sell these. They were a good enough deal that I'll make money.
Do you buy a lot of miniatures with the intent of reselling them?
No.
Happy snow day. Dude, yeah, it's fucking going out there, eh?
Yeah.
I keep peeking out into the hallway of my office just to kind of see what the current status is because I have no windows here in this office because I'm a caveman. And yeah, it's looking grim. Not looking forward to driving home. Loot Studios is doing another big pack for the Valhalla set, but it's 3 dwarf clans. Yeah, I think there are a decent number of dwarf miniatures out there. One that comes to mind is Cyber Miniatures. They do a lot of spelled SCIBOR. They do a lot of dwarf stuff. But there's also a lot of other companies. Durgeon Paint Forge had like a couple of dwarf minis that looked pretty dang cool. All right, that's the shield's Adenzo, or at least the dry brushing part. No, dude. Okay, nice. All right, let's clean that airbrush out, and then I'm just gonna paint the tips of the shields that kind of are getting their paint wiped off from the dry brush. A little bit of gold. And then we'll go into some airbrushing. And I have a problem still with my airbrushing step that I need to solve. We'll get into that in a bit. There was a store near me that did a oopsies and violated the MAPP for Dominion and advertised it for $60 a box. I don't know what MAPP stands for, but I'm assuming it's you can't discount GW products more than 20% or whatever it is.
It's the minimum advertised product price. Some of them you're allowed to discount more, but you aren't allowed to post that you're discounting it more.
Yeah. A lot of companies have clever ways of subverting that by like making GW products 20% off and then giving people like another 10% if they sign up for like a mailing list or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt's got the idea. Thanks to Stal Pesson for subscribing with Prime 2 months in a row.
Thank you. Keyword is advertised. Job hunting during the holidays sucks. Why is that? Is that because it's hard to find a job during the holidays because other people are looking for jobs? Or what's the reason? This is the first one I did. I got fucking gold dust all over the place. Looks terrible. Mishap. Thanks for the Prime sub. 17 months. Appreciate the support. Someone is knocking at the door.
Howdy, package.
Oh, thank you.
When I see stuff, so it doesn't get feet.
Gotcha.
Keep knocking on the door.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just my neighbor being nice. Making sure I get my package before someone else grabs it. Coben Heister. Thanks for the Prime sub. Oh God, did someone send pizza to the studio again? No, I wouldn't mind that, honestly. I remember when that happened the first time, I was just a little taken aback that someone just found my my address of my home so easily. I still feel bad about that. I reacted kind of negatively to someone's gift for me, but I was just kind of freaked out. Dude, I watched Rogue One again recently. I thought that there was a sick bad guy speech at the end of it, but I remembered that that was actually episode 7 of Star Wars. But Rogue One, pretty good movie. I forgot how good it was. I knew it was one that people liked and preferred, but I didn't know how good of a movie it was. It does hold up. Right. Oh, you know what? I think I'm mixing up which dudes I've already painted and which ones I haven't already painted. That looks good. So next, not this weekend, but next weekend after that, John and I are flying out to Vincy V's for another little hobby sesh. And I'm bringing with me a ton of Soulblight Gravelords to hopefully get a lot of those done while I'm there. And I have a painting policy while I'm going to be there. I'm going to paint as long as Vince paints. As long as he's painting, I'm going to be painting. So if he paints forever, I'm going to paint forever. But as long as he's got a brush in his hand, so do I. We're gonna see how that works out.
Rogue One was big poopy, by the way. I got a call from my vet, so I couldn't immediately spout off about it.
You think Rogue One is a bad movie?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's an atonal mess that has gigantic character writing problems.
What are the tones that it's trying to put forth?
Well, the biggest problem with the movie that I have is here we go. You've got a legendary fighter guy. Let me look up his name, his actual character name.
Andor? Captain Andor? People saying in chat that they also like the Andor TV show. I keep hearing things about that TV show.
Saw Gerrera, played by Forrest Whitaker in Rogue One, where everyone's like, he's too extreme. That guy is nuts. Mm-hmm. He's way too extreme. He fights all the time. And you finally meet this character, and what does he do? He says, "Yeah, I'm done fighting. I don't do that anymore." And they're gonna blow up my planet. That's cool. I'll just chill.
Well, I don't think he knew about the planet-destroying weapon until it was first demonstrated on his planet, or his city, rather.
No, I mean, like, they're all running away, and he's like, "You guys go on ahead. I'll stay back. It's cool."
I think clearly he was at the end of his line in terms of like his career as being a, what's the word? A rebel.
He's just emblematic of the issues that the movie has with characterization, and I think they came about because of the massive reshoots and the firing of the first director, where the movie came out too dark and too serious. And I think Forrest Whitaker's role previously was much bigger, and they wanted to tone it back, and so they just were like, we're just gonna have him die instead of using this actor that we had do a bunch of stuff for this movie.
TGB Dev, thanks for the donation, $3. We also got a sub from Killa Green, a 5 months total, 3 month streak. Thanks for the sub. Yeah, I mean, his parts were just so infrequent in the movie that I didn't really have much to say about him. I thought it was cool that he gets his hands on probably the biggest leak in Empire history, and the first thing he wants to do is feed him to his mind-sucking alien. That felt pretty like, what's the term? Extreme to me. Drunk mini painting stream? No, probably not gonna do a drunk mini painting stream. Bring toothpicks for the eyes then. Unfortunately, I'm here to say, I am here to hear you say that, Scott. No backing out now. I have no intention of backing out. 0. I got a lot of Soul Black Gravelord shit to paint. I'm gonna bring my dragon so I can finish that. I'm gonna bring my Graveguard proxies, and then probably another whole unit. Saw exists in the Andor show, so far not a whole lot, but season 2 probably a bit more. He's like really siding in both properties. I can't see the full comment. Really siding in both properties. He most exists in Star Wars. He exists mostly in the Star Wars Rebel show. Porcollet. Yes, that was the name of the mind-ravaging beast. All right. Okay, so one thing I do with my paint scheme on my skeletons is it's kind of difficult to highlight their, spherically shaped abdomen. Sorry, not highlight, but shade it in like a pleasant way that like is fast. At the moment, I basically have a base coat and a recess shade in the details, and that's kind of it. And that could be good enough. But it's such a large surface on the model, like comparatively, and so is the shield, that I want to have some shading on there so you can see like some volumes. And what I did for that was I did like an intermediate airbrush shading step. So like when I'm halfway through the paint job or however far I am, I bust out the airbrush and I kind of popped in some blue tones. And I painted one of them. Oh, here it is. You can see I got some blue down there. And so now there's some shape to his abdomen. It's brighter at the top of his chest and it's darker in the corners. And I also spritzed some on the bottoms of the shoulders and stuff like that. And I really like this kind of idea because I'm using a dark blue color. Dark blue is kind of already the shadow color that I have on the entire model. So if I get some dark blue color, like on the red part, for instance, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of just more shading. So I think I would love to use this idea more frequently, like when I am painting other like units, stuff like that. Kind of break the airbrush out, get a translucent color that kind of matches the shading for the rest of my model, and kind of spritz it in some choice areas, not being too concerned about overbrushing. Seven, are you a bigger fan of the OT, the PT, or the ST? The fuck? We're getting deep into Star Wars lore in the chat.
So I was about to type this out, but I'll just say it. The prequel movies that Lucas made are movies that have something to say, but are ineptly made and fail at saying what they intend to. And the sequel movies made by Disney are movies that have nothing to say, that are competently made.
If by nothing to say you mean nothing unique to say, maybe I'd agree with that.
There's no real direction to them, and that can be easily seen by how they immediately change course between movies because they didn't really have a plan or an idea.
Yeah.
It's just a corporate cash grab. Let's do a series of cool Star Wars looking images in a row and see how much we can monetize them.
I kind of agree with that. Oh, original trilogy. Is that what OT stands for? And,
Yeah.
Okay.
Original, sequel, and prequel, I assume.
All right, so the issue that I don't think I really described that I'm trying to solve is the color that I like to use is Guilliman Glaze for this step. But my God, does this shit just insta-clog my airbrush. Not clog. I just get dry tip immediately upon using it. And so I'm trying out a couple different colors today that are kind of like translucent ones. I just tried Night Blue by one of the shaders from MOAR. And instantaneously, I can already tell this isn't gonna work. It doesn't have any kind of surface adhesion. The moment I spray it onto the surface, it just instantly spiderwebs. I don't know why certain paints do that more than other ones, but the Guilliman Glaze, for instance, it really is good about sticking down right away. And maybe that's partially about why I get more of a dry tip issue than I would with another paint, for instance, how well it is at adhering to a surface. Pro Acrylic Transparent Purple / Black. Not looking for purple, I'm looking for a dark navy blue. But I bet they have a transparent navy blue. I mean, I kind of agree about what Athathoth is saying about the original trilogy not being planned out, because like the first and second story, or the second and third story, are kind of the same in that the big villain is a large space station being built to destroy planets. It's like, that's the problem both times. It's like, oh, they're rebuilding it now. It's like, really, we could have gone with like a new, unique idea. And this kind of plagues the Star Wars franchise quite a bit. It's just so much of the same fucking threat being thrown around constantly.
I mean, epic adventure, save the world movies and MacGuffins that are world ending is sort of a bread and butter combo. Yeah, they could have done something more original than a second Death Star, but whatever. In truth, it's probably more realistic than other options. Yeah, the thing that we built was really good, but we need to solve a couple of the issues and we'll just build another one rather than doing something completely different. Yeah, it's bigger and seconder.
What up, Eperuza? Welcome back, man. Pro Acrylic Transparents mix well? I bet they do. I bet they do. You could add a retarder to the Guilliman. If you added a retarder to the Guilliman, would it ruin the glaze effect? I don't think so. Damage Inc. 425. Speaking of Damage Inc., you guys heard the new Metallica song, Lux Aeterna? It's pretty thrashy. Pretty, kind of a return to form, if I may say, for Metallica. All right, so I tried the MIG by Ammo Shaders. I don't know what the full name is. Ammo MIG Jimenez. And now I'm trying a Vallejo Express color called Omega Blue. I'm working on, don't talk about Andor. We're not gonna talk about Andor, but man, people really like that show. Sunk cost fallacy, that's what you get out of a big fascist bureaucracy. I mean, these all sound like perfectly logical things that would happen in real life, but this is a fucking Star Wars movie? Do we really care about reality in the first place?
I don't know. It's emblematic of the bureaucracy of something like an empire.
Sure.
It works. I don't have a problem with it. You need something that they're building. The whole thing where it turns out that it's a trap. I think it's pretty well executed.
This color is working real nice. Omega Blue. It's like basically the same kind of color as Guilliman Glaze. It's kind of more of like an indigo purple. So kind of popping that in the corners. This is kind of an intermediate step, like I said before, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back in with a little bit brighter of a silver to highlight some of these edges and also kind of, you know, carve back some of this blue. And yeah, like right here on this shoulder area, like I'm gonna spray the bottom portion of this shoulder, and there's no world where I don't get it on the red, but that it doesn't matter, honestly. Just a little bit on that lower edge. Man, this stuff smells so much like GW ink. And you know what? I'm already getting a lot of buildup here on the tip. You can see it right there. There's a little bit of
your tip.
I do. Actually, before the stream started, it's sitting on my desk right now. I used some needle juice, and it did not do anything, sadly.
You should get good.
Sadly, that never does anything. Getting good is a waste of time. You should just blame your tools and materials, okay?
That's true. I agree.
Makes you look better. All right, well. Careful, don't say needle juice 3 times in a row. Hot take, Luke as a character sucks after episode 4 and continues to suck until he dies, and I love Star Wars. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I am not able to critically analyze the Star Wars franchise because I just love it too much. Ever since I was a little kid, and I'm always gonna love it. You know, even the prequels, even the only one I just can't get behind is episode 8. Man, that movie sucked so much dick. I don't know what the fuck happened, but my God, that movie was terrible. That director,
and I feel that way about it.
I love that director. He's great.
Knives Out was tremendous. I'm really excited to go see. Me and Alex were gonna go see Glass Onion over the weekend, but he wasn't feeling up to it.
Oh, okay. I think he did Blue Velvet as well.
Yeah, he's a good director.
He's good. I don't know what the fuck happened.
What happened was that script was complete dog shit, and no one thought about anything in that movie for more than 5 minutes. I swear to God.
I feel the same way, Scott. Episode 8, greater than episode 9. Please, bro. Please. In no world is that true. Like, I remember when episode 8 first came out, and like there was just an initial insane hatred for that movie. And honestly, it was warranted. And then the reviewers started to kind of back down a little bit, and then it started to kind of bounce back and score. And I always thought that was because people were reacting to how much people hated it, and they wanted to like give it the benefit of the doubt, review-wise. And I don't know how true that is.
Disney also has a lot of money.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
You might be right about that for the winter. I've only ever watched it once. I think the movie opens with a Yo Mama joke.
See, the issues with that movie is like, there's no individual scene or shot that you can point to and be like, that's bad. But it doesn't work. The movie just doesn't work. It also causes a gigantic problem with every other Star Wars movie, which is, wait, if you can just hyperspace into an enemy fleet and destroy the whole thing, why hasn't that been a tactic forever? The amount of damage done by that, they could have just destroyed the Death Star by ramming one ship into it. It's one of those things that someone needed to stop and think about the ramifications of what you're doing in the film for the rest of the canon. It's the same problem that superhero movies run into, where it's like, wait, if you had this power the whole time, you could have solved all these previous movies by just doing that. Something you got to be really careful of.
Maybe they just didn't want to commit suicide. I guess you could just do it with an unmanned, remote-controlled ship.
Yeah, or you could just put some droids on it, since they're all treated as second-class citizens.
Yeah.
Like, droids' rights is still treated as a joke, even though they're clearly sentient.
That's something I really thought about. Couch Frog saying, can we all agree that Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie? The last scene of Vader wading through Rebel troopers is epic. That is probably the coolest scene in all of Star Wars movies ever. I mean, that's my contender at least. I fucking love that part. It is Vader at peak Vader. I love it.
I don't think it's scary enough personally, but the better version of that scene is in what's the game that was made recently? Hang on.
Ooh, that was too much.
Oh man, I'm gonna click on the Wikipedia article for list of Star Wars games, and I'm gonna want to die.
What the fuck?
There's so many.
All right, I am gonna try to put some what's the word? Retarder in here just to see if that's gonna solve my needle tip drying issue, because this one's having even more problems. It's like drying in the middle of a single model while I'm painting it, and that ain't okay. You know what? Maybe
Fallen Order was the one I was thinking of. Vader and Fallen Order. That is Vader at his peak. Because you don't fight him. You just run. You're like, you've spent the whole game doing the building up the Jedi power fantasy thing, and then you run into Vader, and your only option is to just like, get the fuck out.
I can't remember if that's the one that Girlfriend Reviews reviewed or not. Is it published by EA? I feel like every Star Wars game is.
Yeah, every Star Wars game in the last like 10 years is EA. Yes, and it was made by the same studio that did Titanfall.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, it doesn't drain. Respawn Entertainment made it. 2019, so a few years ago. Very good game. Enjoyed it a lot.
All right. I'm nostalgic for the original Dark Forces game. Man, there's only one game that I played, one Star Wars game that I played.
Dark Forces.
It was an older one, and it had a multiplayer in it. I'm not sure if it was Dark Forces or something else.
Probably Jedi Knight. Was it
sounds
3D
kind of familiar.
or like Doom style 2D, 3D hybrid?
Wait, ask again?
Was it a 3D game?
Yes.
Did it have lightsabers?
Lightsabers?
Yeah.
Yes. You played, I think, as a Jedi primarily.
Yeah, I think you're probably thinking of Jedi Knight 2. You could like jump around and move real fast and stuff.
Definitely.
You could actually dismember stormtroopers in that game.
Yep.
Best console command ever. I can't remember what the words were, but you could turn up the dismemberment, so if you touched them with a lightsaber, they would explode like a crash test dummy. Like every cut point on the model would just like break at once. So their hands and their arms and stuff would just pop apart. It was amazing.
That's awesome. Hey, what up, Broadsword Wargaming? You guys are looking good. How many you got to go? I'm just painting 10 more. I don't really know how many my final 2,000 point list will have. But I have 10 done so far, and then I have another 10 right now. And that should probably do me for a while in the Escalation League, at least. Man, I fucking hate. This is like the one issue. This is the Achilles heel of the airbrush, is that needle dry. You just slowly lose the ability to do very tiny little dots. But if you have that needle fully unobscured, you can get the tiniest little dots and lines that you want. I'm airbrushing the metallics just to give them a little bit more life right now. So like I'm airbrushing the bottom of the shield.
More like unlife.
Hey. We went there. Like on this big round breastplate right here. I want to add some shading. Oops. See, I'm a little bit too used to... That might have been a little bit too aggressive. That's okay though. I thought we do this before the final highlighting stage, because then during the final highlighting stage we can fix some things and adjust some things. Are these models you just pay for funsies, or do you have a game you're gonna field them in? These are actually for gaming. I don't like to batch paint for fun very often. But yeah, these will be for Age of Sigmar for our Escalation League called Northern Conquerors, which the next video on my channel is gonna be about. And I think there are 2 Northern Conquerors games scheduled for this month. One where I play against Alex, who was an opponent that you saw play Curtis, and then I play Curtis in our first league match. High Voltage, thanks for the sub. Your Escalation League, wait, what did that say? Your Escalation League got me into AOS, started a Corn Demon army. Looking forward to playing with some friends. That's exciting. Yes, Broadsword Wargaming. It's possible that the airbrush thinner that I put into this blue stuff is starting to kick in and starting to maybe reduce the amount of dry tip that I'm experiencing here. Did you finish your Cursed City box set, Ali, or no? Can we ban Evan from chat so we can all nerd out about how good Andor is? I wish we had proper elves in Age of Sigmar, though. Man, don't I fucking know it.
Wish we had proper dwarves too.
Yeah, honestly. Because we do have both dwarves and elves. They're just very highly stylized and specific.
Yeah. Caleb Sweet 20 subscribing at tier 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. Gotta play Middle Earth strategy board game, proper elves and dwarves. That's true. It's like 70% finished. Cara and I did it in the video, but she basically sat around eating takeaways. Nice. If anyone's interested, US is leading over Iran. This is in the World Cup, I presume. I checked on the standings this morning. Oh. Getting that goddamn buildup. Saw someone make a post about that and thought we had gotten in another war since they didn't mention anything other than the countries beating each other. Oh no! Hey Scott, long time YouTube subscriber and Tup Goody Peepee. First time catching a stream. What up, Caleb? Welcome. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
Oh my God!
Viewer, picking up a tie-dye hoodie. Thank you, viewer.
I have yet to see someone fill that in with a name.
When the stream ends, I'll do a test and show you that it works.
I'm sure it does, but it's probably some sort of thing that people aren't seeing.
Yeah, maybe.
Vince asked in chat, by stylized, we mean not Tolkien derivatives, I assume. Or are we appealing to historical paradigm of these people existing I'm unaware of?
You didn't know that dwarves and elves were real things? Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily mean Tolkien derivatives because...
I do.
what I mean is just more generic. I think an elf can be more generic looking and lean into a specific aesthetic less, and not necessarily be a Tolkien derivative. Like for instance, a Glade Guard archer in the old Wood Elf range, I would say, is more of a generic elf than say the Lumineth archers, just aesthetically, not anything to do with it looking like it's from the Tolkien universe. If we're gonna say that leathers and cloaks are Tolkien derivative, then everything is, you know? That's my opinion, at least. Happen to be wrong, though. I don't dislike Lumineth, but they're not quite high elves. Rather do an old style vampire army. Okay. Thank you, Nurgle Matthew. Oathmark kits might be right up your alley. They might be a little bit too old school historical looking. We'll see. Lumineth are way closer to high elves / tokenish elves than either dwarf factions are proper Tolkien derivative dwarves.
I agree.
I don't know how true that is.
I think I agree with that. Aesthetically, their armor is like ornate, but it's got a high elf quality to it at least. Both the dwarf factions are kind of like missing the we dig in rock and stone and, you know, build cities underground, and we're just miners that are built tough. You've got like the weird tinkerers that are clearly like more gnome inspired with their airships and stuff. Caleb Sweet gets it, caught the reference. And then you've got the guys that are just like, I'm gonna get greased up and naked and run into combat and punch something.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with either of those, but I want dwarves that, you know, wear armor and wield axes and have ridiculous saves.
You like them tanky boys. White Mace Windu. It's a bizarre name. Thank you for the prime sub. Greased up dwarf poppy. Slayers are really cool, especially seeing it within a broader army rather than as an entire army. I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, I like how the original dwarves were laid out. You had a smattering of various things. You had miners, you had slayers, you had thunderers, you had longbeards, you had hammerers, and they were all dwarves together. You want Warhammer Fantasy dwarves, I get it. Your concept of generic is Tolkien derivative, though. What is generic? Okay, I guess I want pointy ears and leathers and like some nature details. I mean, if Tolkien invented all elves, then no matter what I say, it's gonna be elf derivative, and you just automatically win, right? Are D&D elves generic? No, they're Tolkien derivatives, obviously.
Well, depending on the D&D setting.
What did he not invent elves?
Did Tolkien invent elves?
I don't know. I've heard that he has. What fantasy races has Tolkien invented? Because I've certainly heard that he has. Maybe whatever I listened to the myriad times was lying to me.
Yeah, as a thought has it correct. Pre-Tolkien elves exist, but they tend to be more like fairies and gremlins. And yeah, the gremlin aspect is definitely true. Spirits that lurk in the forest kind of thing.
Spirits. Get into an internet fight? No, I'm just trying to get my sources correct, because I've definitely heard that Tolkien invented several fantasy races as we know them today.
Certainly, he defined how we think of them today.
He created our modern conception of elves you are appealing to. They are concepts that have existed for a long time: fairies, gremlins, or valkyries in Norse mythology, and so on. Okay. Copy pasta for the win. Children of the Forest.
Yeah, the elf army that Scott really wants is Santa's Christmas elves.
Yes.
Where they wear slippers with curly feet and tunics.
And they're like super short.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so
they have completely irregular human proportions, but they're like 4 feet tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want. So leaving behind Tolkien, just from a design standpoint, Lumineth elves have more going on visually than an old Wood Elf. And this is just indicative of how GW has gone through like their design changes over time. They've been, more designed, having more details, having more originality in their designs. It allows for more IP constraint and things like that. I just didn't happen to like the specific aesthetic direction they leaned into for Lumineth elves. Is an elf that I like more like Tolkien? I don't know. At this point, it kind of seems like they just all are. Elves were in spoken word history for much longer. Right, yeah. I guess we're just talking about what they look like at this point, not necessarily the concept of elves.
I think the thing that bothers me about the aesthetics of a lot of the forces in AOS is, to some degree, it makes sense for a force to be completely hegemonic. Like Stormcast, for instance. They're forged by a god. Their armor makes sense. It's literally their identity. But a lot of these forces are just like a race of people, and yet there's not a lot of actual variety in looks between them. The theoretical subcultures and stuff. Cities has the ability to take a bunch of the old stuff, which solves that problem to some degree, but when you look at a lot of these forces and you're just kind of like, yeah, but where are the elves that don't live in the high cities and wear the high armor?
They're in Warhammer Underworlds.
Yeah, exactly.
That's perfectly fair. There are certainly more ornate and derivative piles, animal-influenced armor, and so on. They're certainly a fair step away from Wood Elves, as I said. Like we like, and that's all good. No, Vince, it's not all good, okay? I want you to fucking argue with me and fucking tell me why I'm wrong and stop being polite, okay? God
Vince,
damn.
come out here and fight us.
Yeah, fucking fight me, Vince. We'll get greased up and shove some gold in our chests and call it dwarves. Dwarf mud fight. And only in Underworlds, you get Scathe or nothing. Okay, I know I said that those are Wood Elves, but those are not Wood Elves. Those are Satyrs and Fawns, okay? Get it right. Sure. Yeah, Derby do it. Never thought watch my favorite mini painters argue on Twitch about elven origins. Yeah.
What do you think we all do in our spare time?
Right, we get deep in it. I could spend my energy caring about things that really matter, like politics. But no, I care about elves. It's elf wars over here. Scott over here drinking Dr. Pepper like my teenage addicted self, or like my teenage addicted self, or like my 30-year-old addicted self.
That's rough, buddy.
How's that rough?
Being addicted?
Oh, I thought we were using it humorously. I mean, maybe I am. I received a Infinity CR Plus 0.2 yesterday, and tomorrow I will get my Miniac cutting mat. Hype mail week. Heck yeah, dude. Sounds like a fun week. Alrighty then.
Is there going to be a tough live at Adepticon this year, Scott? Spilbo Baggins wants to know.
We have inquired about doing that. And I'm not sure where we're at in that planning process, but we're trying to do it. There's going to be a live TUP at LVO in a very special and fancy room. that we have no business being in. But they like had the space and they needed someone to use it, and the guy who was like the event coordinator thought of us, which was very polite of him. And so we're gonna be in some big fancy amphitheater room. Doing a Golden Demon entry this year, Scott? No, just painting for fun.
So are you gonna shit your pants if that amphitheater is like full of people to watch Tub live?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I'll shit my pants when it happens. I'll let you know if I shit my pants.
Yeah, I won't be at LVO. I'm planning on being at Adepticon, but I have to like put that together.
Yeah.
Planning things is hard, Scott.
Did you get your tickets?
No, fuck no.
Okay. So you don't have a place to stay yet?
No.
Any plans to paint the Sons of Velmorn warband? I have them, but I don't have any plans as of yet. I'd love to figure out a way to work them into my my Soulblight Gravelord's army. I don't know what to do with them exactly. Scott's thoughts. How do you feel about D&D Drow / Elder Scrolls Dark Elves? Well, I don't really know about Elder Scrolls Dark Elves. I do know a little bit about Drows because of my reading of R.A. Salvatore's series with Drizzt and the like. And I'm down with Drows. They kind of just seem like Dark Elves. I'm sure there are other differences between them. I don't know if Drows are inherently evil like Dark Elves seem to be cast. Just curious, what's in the spray bottle to clean the airbrush? Having some issues with my trigger sticking lately. It is a cut of water and isopropyl. It's like 50-50 water isopropyl. You can obviously use full fat isopropyl if you want to, but I think this kind of just saves it and does a good enough job. Too many spiders in the whole drought situation. Drizzt was a D&D awakening for everyone. Drow have historically been evil, but they've stepped away from that recently. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't really remember. I read that book series such a long time ago. I kind of remember them. I thought that main character in that movie wasn't bad. Sorry, in that book series wasn't bad. But it's very possible that like that particular drow was just a good one and the rest aren't.
Yeah, in the setting, the Drow society is dominated by like evil gods and stuff. But
okay.
Recently, they've tried to. They're basically whitewashing all of D&D and saying we're not going to ascribe any of this stuff anymore in the books, so that way, you know, anybody could be good. Which sounds nice, but then it also kind of robs the actual evil societies of their aesthetic.
It kind of does. I kind of like it just because if I ever want to play D&D, I can't ever play as the things that I want to be because they're like notoriously villains, and you have to like make some special considerations to have a party member with like say a vampire in there.
I just completely reject the premise of your statement.
Okay.
I've run quite a bit of D&D, and I've run most of it for parties that are explicitly not good characters.
That sounds like that would work together. But if you had like a, you know, say 4 to 5 members are like good guys naturally, and you had like one guy wanted to play as like a vampire or like a dark elf or like something evil, you probably need to like come up with a backstory that makes sense, which is not that hard necessarily. But for certain things like demons, for instance, it's a little bit hard to do because intrinsically demons are evil and there isn't much backstory.
I mean, sure, but on the other hand, good guys have spells that can summon demons and force them to work for them anyway. There's all this stuff in D&D. People get caught up on what it says on the stat sheet, and the truth is that people who very much do not agree on matters of ethics and morality and so on will often have common goals that allow them to work together for a time. For instance, the Americans and the Soviets had very, very different ideas about how an economy should be run, or, you know, what was good or ethical behavior, and yet no problem aligning against the Axis powers, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And then as soon as the war was over, okay, now we can fight.
People been saying in chat, including John, that you could always play whatever you wanted from the beginning of time. So
Yep.
I guess this begs the question: why do you care about D&D prescribing anything to any fantasy race? You can make it whatever you want to be. So why does it matter?
Well, that's kind of the point. Is the pre-ascribed notions are the things about the setting, not necessarily about your characters. There's nothing wrong with saying that your character is different than the norm, and most drow are evil, but I'm playing Drist, who's clearly a good guy, or whatever.
Okay. The next D&D campaign I'm playing, I'm gonna be like, I want to be a vampire, and I'm gonna test everyone's theory that tells me this every time I say that I think there's an issue, because everyone's like, you can play as whatever you want. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fucking do that next time. I'm gonna see if it causes a problem.
Just gotta have the right group, Scott.
And then what does that mean? What's the right group for me to play vampire with? I want to know. I don't want to fuck this up.
Do you want the short answer or the long answer?
I want an answer.
The short answer is you need to play with a party of players, not of player characters, but a group of players.
And what's the difference?
That are aligned on the role-playing experience you guys want to have.
Okay. And what's the experience that I want to have if I'm playing a vampire?
Well, it sounds like you want to experience the fantasy of playing yourself in a fantasy game. Senior vampire.
I mean, that's what anyone is looking for in D&D, right?
No. A lot of people look to play people that are very, very different from themselves.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to play as Scott as a vampire. I want to play as a vampire.
I was making a joke that you are, in fact, a vampire in real life.
Joke lost on me.
Scott's gonna have to play a vegan vampire. See, I don't want to do that. I want to fucking eat people and drink their fucking blood. That's what I want to do. Have you listened to Impact Winter? I have not. Scott, do you want to play as an evil vampire or a good vampire? That's a critical point that needs to be made. Probably an evil vampire. But can it be more complicated than that? Like, I would like to work toward a common end goal, maybe while still succumbing to my typical vampire evil tendencies. So like we go to a town, help out the town. Oh, where's Scott? He's fucking drinking some civilian's blood because he has an insatiable thirst that he needs to sate. And it's like, okay, while I am helping out with this common goal of defeating this evil wizard, I'm also still very clearly a bad guy, Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I've run games exactly like that.
Scott, just play Vampire the Masquerade. I mean, that also could work. I don't know anything about that, but that definitely could work. I kind of like how vampires exist in the larger universe versus just like by themselves. I like how they interact with other fantasy races and stuff like that. Which is not to say that I wouldn't potentially enjoy Vampire the Masquerade. It's very likely that I might.
Vince says, it's a question of whether you want to be disruptive of the group goals or be part of a group with other cool people. He's absolutely right about that. Tension and all of that stuff can be vital and good. Getting caught up in the alignment of it is too simple. It's about your disposition to the group and disrupting everything to feed your own RP or just doing things to make interesting narrative situations. And, like what he's driving at is like the classic, someone wants to play a rogue and then start stealing from other team members just because they want to fuck with them. You're like trolling your teammates, right?
Yeah.
Versus the guy who is just a legit kleptomaniac and causes situations when out and about because, oh, whoops, I forgot to pay for this. Totally. And I've put us in this situation again. I apologize. It's the same sort of character, but a different characterization. And yeah, it can all be sorted out in session 0.
So and you guys can let me know if this is a wrong assumption that I'm making here, but at the very least, it sounds like playing as a villainous character in D&D requires more thought in pre-production than just playing as a archetypal good guy or a guy that can fit better into a good guy's like plans and schemes.
I would say that that's kind of true. The default, like, Babby's first D&D group is going to fall into a lot of people playing Luke Skywalker. Reluctant good characters, you know, like they aren't necessarily champions of heroism, but when it comes down to it, always want to do the right thing, but it is by no means necessary. My longest running D&D campaign was explicitly one where everyone was a self-interested, power-hungry person. No one had a good alignment. 3 of the 4 player characters had evil alignments. But it made sense for them to work together on their disparate goals to try and get ahead.
We playing D&D at your house, Vince? I don't want to be a vampire. All characters have hiccups. This is what session 0 is for. At the simplest, most reductive, sure, your simple hero is an easy fit to most adventurers. That just isn't what most people play. Most people have neat hang-ups, challenges, risks, flaws, and so on, and that naturally makes for good discussion during session 0 in the game. Yeah. I guess maybe a vampire is more intrinsically evil than, say, a dwarf with daddy issues, you know? Like, part of my
part of
my needs are I need to fucking kill people and eat them to survive. You know, a dwarf doesn't need to do that necessarily, but he might have like an angry side. And I'm not really sure if I'm making much of a claim right now, but I guess I'm just differentiating between how I view vampires in the broader fantasy world versus something that might be more traditionally good. If you want, you can bring a vampire. You being a vampire would be the most rote thing at my table in a while. What does rote mean? I don't know what rote means. You could feud without killing though, right? But no, I don't want to do that though.
Mundane. He means mundane.
Mundane, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, basic. There's an easy way to solve the vampire needs to feed problem while still creating some tension.
Yeah.
Which is you have someone else in the party that volunteers to be your blood bag.
Okay.
But it takes away hit points and power from them because every day you're feeding on them. But it keeps you from feeding on the innocent. So the good guy's on board with it to, you know, reap the power of the vampire in the party. But it does create that tension of, you know, you're literally sucking us dry, man.
That is true. Someone mentioned you don't need to feed on humans, and the thing about it is I don't want to be a vampire that feeds on like cows and chicken blood. Like,
yeah, that's gross, man.
I want to murder civilians.
Animal blood? That's gross.
Yeah, dude, that ain't the vintage stuff I'm after.
Yeah, I will also say that the paradigm of good and evil in D&D falls apart on the fact that 90% of the game's problems require a solution of, well, we'll just murder them. That's, to me, not necessarily what good guys do in real life. And yet, that is like what most D&D campaigns boil down to, is just like, we're having a disagreement here. It's a fight to the death. Let's cut off this guy's head.
This is Interview with a Vampire. I saw that movie recently. Scott, you need to check out Vampire the Masquerade. It would be 100% what you're looking to do here. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
possible.
Vampire the Masquerade's pretty cool.
I believe it.
It's a different sort of game from top to bottom. Did you ever play the PC adaptation of that game?
No, I didn't.
You should check it out. It's an older game, so it's got some older game jank to it. It came out in probably like 2007 or something like that, but it's a pretty cool role-playing game.
It's an older game, but it checks out.
It's an older game, but it checks out. Innocent blood just tastes better.
Your vampire, yeah, I mean, yeah. Basically, I'm not looking to be a literal vampire but a good guy. Part of the reason why I like vampires is because they are evil, because they are deceptively strong, and because they are beguiling, and because they kill the innocent, because they are violent and strong, and they have evil tendencies. That's if you just take a vampire and you whitewash it, to use an earlier term, it's no longer a vampire to me. I mean, it is slightly, but it definitely loses some of that glamour, that evil guy glamour. We should put a poll out right now in the chat and just see, do you guys like good guys or bad guys more? I'm just curious.
Is that what you want me to make the poll? Do you guys like good guys or bad guys more?
Well, how about what's your I don't know if role playing or narrative, like what's your narrative preference for characters? Bad guys or good guys? Like, do you like to side with the bad guys? Do you like to side with the good guys? Does it make you happy when bad guys win? Does it make you happy when good guys win? Like, do you like a bad guy only for his existence, for a good guy to struggle against? I don't know how to word that question, but that's what I'm trying to capture in this question. And maybe the fact that you're listening to me just explain it now will give me the answer I'm looking for. Good guys.
I'm just gonna throw this. I think this is not what you're looking for, but whatever.
I like complex PCs, not inherently good or evil. I mean, that's a fair answer too.
See, I think that the best adventuring groups have very different characters. I think that when a group is mostly in the same frame of mind, it's actually pretty boring.
Okay.
Which is why if I'm in a group of what I would call pretty vanilla role players, then I will play a paladin with an off the beat paladin type thing.
Okay.
Like not like good guy paladin, but like Two-Face. Two-Face is kind of a paladin in the Batman animated series, where he is sworn to and obsessed with chance. Like, does this guy die or live? It is up to the coin to decide. It's not up to me. It's a force greater than me. Introducing that kind of strife to the party can be great. Vince says, my main character in D&D Marathon this last weekend was snorting ground up angels to help a demon family to resolve a labor dispute for innocent workers to get rights and help a friend return to his family. So I'm not sure good or bad is going to capture that.
Yeah, I meant a little bit more of a generic thing. I'm not like asking necessarily like what you want to play in a role-playing game. I mean, like when you watch a movie, like when you watch Star Wars, are you rooting for the Empire or the Rebellion? Batman is the Gloomstalker Ranger. Watch Andor and tell me you're rooting for the Empire. I mean, if Andor is anything like Rogue One, which I'm assuming it is, because I'm assuming Andor follows Captain Andor, he is definitely not a savory character, which that's part of the reason why I liked Rogue One so much, and why probably a lot of you like Rogue One so much, is that the rebels get fucking dirty in Rogue One, and I love that, because that's definitely part of a rebellion, doing whatever you can to make sure your goals are met, because you're fighting against what you believe to be a greater evil, and the ends justify the means. Vampire the Masquerade has around 15 different vampire factions, and they each have their uniqueness, from gangrel animalistic vampire to Nosferatu to Kang twisted vampires, the high society sophisticated vampires. Yeah, I mean, that sounds awesome. But yeah, I do appreciate how vampires interact in a larger fantasy scope. Like, I love, but maybe that game allows you to do that. And I'm sure it does. Just doing some bright silver edge highlights and also cleaning up some other parts. or of the silver stuff. Nothing too crazy at the moment. I deeply appreciate a villain wins story. I do as well. Doesn't often happen. But every once in a while we get a movie like Strangers. And I'm just like, ooh, my fucking bones warm. I love that shit. True good and evil is boring. In real life, lines are very blurred. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, on the other hand, when we're talking about role-playing games, it's not real life. Something that often has to be pointed out, that cliches are a lot more fun when you play through them rather than watch them.
Ah!
Scott, I thought you used like painting handles all the time.
I got 10 dudes here. I don't have enough painting handles. I'm not too worried about that kind of stuff. Most villains don't think they are the villain, right? Yeah, sometimes they don't, but I do appreciate when a villain knows they're a bad guy and they're doing it just for the sake of it. That is a fun story. But I think you're right. I think majority of the time they think, or at least there's definitely a certain subset of villains that think they're doing something for the greater good. Vampire the Masquerade is a great game if you like role-playing sex with your awkward, nerdy friends. I most certainly do not like doing that. I mean, I'm already kind of like tweaked out about role-playing as a concept to begin with. That would just be the fucking cringiest thing for me. Shit, I got silver on the fucking cloth. No! And it's fucking impossible to get TMM off.
Yeah, it is. Scott, who is your favorite villain of all time?
Oh! The first villain in my adolescence that made me think, oh, I like villains more than good guys, is the Count from Knight's Tale. The guy, he leans over von Liechtenstein and he says, you have been weighed, you have been measured, and you've been found wanting. At that moment, little 10-year-old Scott got a little emotional boner in his head and was like, whoa, dude, bad guys are way fucking cooler than good guys. At present time, who's my favorite bad guy? I don't know. I don't think I have one. Neferata. I love me some Neferata. She is the archetypal vampire that I love. Hearn of Death, Huron of Death. Thank you for gifting 5 subs. I appreciate it. Knight's Tale is such a good movie. I agree. I really like that movie. It's a good combination of humor, drama, like good characters. It's a good movie. The Count from Sesame Street. You fucking kidding me, Scott? That twerpy scumbag is your bad guy awakening? Yeah, why are you fucking? You can make fun of him. I don't fucking care. Yeah, he was awesome. He kicked everyone's fucking ass. He had black armor, and he was a fucking dick. Like, I love me some snooty, holier than thou, but also can back it up bad guys. Like, he's basically a human vampire without like the inhuman strength. I would not call him a twerp, okay? He's a general in an army and he kicks everyone's ass in jousting. I don't know. He cheated, right? And that's part of his bad guy thing. He's like, I have to win at all costs. I can't let this guy win in a situation, you know? And I'm kind of game for that. For me, it's Darth Maul. Darth Maul is definitely a cool kind of thing. I get it. Like, he doesn't speak at all. He's a goddamn force in nature. Like, I definitely am into that kind of thing too. Viewer, thanks for picking up a 2XL generic spaceman decapitation shirt. And also cutting mat. Whoo! Twerp, big twerp. All right, you call him a twerp. Darth Maul does speak. You're right, he does, but not a lot. Not a lot. That's a great question, though. I'm going to think on that question some more.
There are a lot of great villains.
Can I say Michael Morbius? Played by Jared Leto.
Banned. Banned from own stream.
Darth Maul. Yeah, I agree. Lord Vladik, definitely very cool as a kid to see Darth Maul.
I definitely think that if we're not just limiting ourselves to film, there's quite a few great video game villains.
Yeah. I was expecting Jareth the Goblin King or Tim Curry in Legend. Oh my god, dude. Tim Curry in Legend.
Even now, the evil seed of what you've done germinates within you.
Oh wow. You got that movie deep inside you, Evan.
Oh, yeah. I watched that movie because of that stupid meme. You know what I'm talking about? Like 5 years ago, the unholy loaf meme or whatever it was called.
Unholy loaf?
It was like an animated piece of bread from a kids TV show using voice lines of Tim Curry in Legend.
What the fuck?
Was it not you that slayed the last unicorn?
I don't know if I can get after that.
Zambies knows what I'm talking about.
You know what? Oh man, this might seem lame to pick a vampire, but I really like
Polka Dot.
Bill Nighy's vampire that he portrays in Underworld. He is, again, same kind of twerpy, if you want to call it that, energy as the Count. He's just like a holier than thou attitude, but can back it up. He's like the top of the vampire hierarchy, and he takes shit from nobody. Love that guy too.
Unfortunately, Underworld as a movie is not good.
No, it isn't.
It's one of those movies that clearly could have been good, but just didn't quite make it to that mark.
I don't think it. You think it was even approaching good?
No, but I can see where a good movie could have been made there. Just a little bit more workshopping, slightly more competent director, and significantly less awkward sex scene where a guy is humping a woman's like navel.
Why are we talking about Anne Rice? I recognize the name Anne Rice, but I don't recognize the character.
THD Toast. Is that Thug Toast abbreviated? Because I'm on board.
Someone said No Country for Old Men. I do love that kind of villain as well. The kind that's just like seemingly unmotivated, but just like murdering everybody. Reminds me of The Strangers as well with those people. That is a good one too.
Sicario?
Oh yeah.
I love me some spycraft villainy shit.
Yeah.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy also nails that, of course.
That is a good one. I kind of feel like drug cartel mafia leaders are our modern day vampires. Like that, like I'm trying to think of all evil humans that might exist. And those
he says modern day vampires as if there were vampires in previous eras.
Yeah, there, of course there are.
Yeah, I don't know why they made a sequel to Sicario. It was actually okay, which was weird, but it didn't make any sense to me.
Hersher Math just fucking jogged my memory so hard. Okay, I have never seen Queen of the Damned, but that was a movie like Sleepy Hollow that I saw as a kid and never fucking watched. And I'm gonna watch the shit out of this movie.
Oh yeah, it's going on the list?
It's on the list, baby. Oh my God. All right, when I get an eat to myself, I'm watching Queen of the Damned. Anne Rice is the Tolkien of vampires. Oh, okay.
The Tolkien of vampires?
I guess in terms of like popularizing and defining and creating. The Queen of the Damned Rice. Queen of the Damned soundtrack fucking slaps.
The Queen of the Rice.
Bram Stoker. Scott's vampire cred is dwindling. Oh, because I didn't know who Anne Rice was. Yeah, I'm not a huge reader.
Man, chat, how do you like seeing Scott's cheek like this? There you go. There you go.
Can the camera? Can I be right here?
I mean, sure.
I will say I am on the green line.
Well, the green line moves.
Does it?
I don't know.
I'll fucking move it.
The camera moves, and then
That's true.
that changes relative to the blah blah blah.
Bram Stoker is a Tolkien of vampires. He wrote the original Dracula. That's fair.
I really, when I think about great villains, I think about The Witcher 3 has like 5 great villains in it, which is kind of nuts.
I wanted to, there was like a holiday that I wanted to often read when I go on vacation, and I had just recently finished playing like 30 hours of The Witcher, and I really wanted to like read one of the books, but it was at the same time that season 2 of the show came out, and there were like no books available in like any airport bookstore. So I never ended up reading it, but I really want to at some point. Interview with a Vampire and Queen of the Damned are based on Anne Rice novels. Interview with a Vampire is definitely kind of like a weird movie for me. It had parts that were good. It had parts that weren't so good. Obviously, it's not a reflection of the book at all. I have no idea what that was like. But the movie itself was kind of okay. It didn't really say anything new about vampires, and that's probably because when the book originally came out, it said a lot of new things about vampires. It's a very vanilla vampire story. Which again, probably makes sense if they're world building in the original book. Don't pay attention to Lestat. Wait, what? Just pay not attention that Lestat is the main character in both those stories. Hey. I kind of forgot. Have I looked into TT Combat's Carnival miniature game? I have actually. I have a box that I'll grab. Oh no.
Otherwise, it should have been in good shape.
Okay.
It's still in good.
Yeah, it looks okay. Yeah, good luck.
Have a good one.
That was the FedEx guy. Not a Vampire question, but a painting one. How do you paint erased areas on capes without messing up the cape itself? You mean like this portion?
Like this?
Like one of these creases, like one of the high parts, accidentally epic? Is that what you're referring to? Favorite villain in a video game, Pyramid Head.
That's not a villain.
Kind of is. Oh, hold on. I wanted to get my TT Combat. I bought a 4K 32-inch monitor on Black Friday for $120.
Is that for me?
No,
Right here?
it's not.
I need a bigger monitor.
It's for focus peaking for the set over there.
Oh.
I've had so many shots lately that have been out of focus. I don't know why it's happening more now here than it did in my basement. But and so I want a big monitor just to check my focus before I head over to the edit. Ugh. Oh, wow, I found it right away. When the fuck did that ever happen?
So anyway, what I was going to say, the reason the Pyramid Head's not a villain is not all bad guys are villains. Villains require characterization.
Okay.
Like, stormtroopers are not villains. They're just bad guys.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, so I bought this box set of miniatures at Adepticon this year. And I've seen this art for this guy somewhere on the internet before. And I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. This is for a game by TT Combat called Carnival. And here's what happens when it turns into miniatures. You know, it kind of it misses something.
Go back to the art. Let's get that flip flop going again. Okay. Yeah, they definitely did him dirty.
You know, I can see a meme here somewhere. This is like your profile picture online, and like this is
It's
real
the dating
life.
profile picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean? Yeah. See, so he looks like thinner in the upper torso. His armor is less imposing.
Yes.
And then that mustache doesn't come across right at all.
Right. And so I thought
He goes from being Dracula to being what we do in the shadows.
that's perfect. What I thought, the reason why I still bought it was I was like, I can probably make this look better with paint.
I can fix him.
Yes, we can fix him, exactly. So we take a look at the actual model here. I don't know.
Yeah, his shoulders are so diminutive.
Yeah, they do kind of sink down below the cape and stuff quite a bit.
He needs those big fantasy shoulder pads that kind of, box him out a bit more and make him look like a Giga Chad.
Yeah.
And instead he's got like sad sloping shoulder pads.
I think in general he's just too tall. I think if he was compressed more, I think his torso seems so gigantic for the size of his leg, and his head pops out so far away from that torso. So yeah, if his shoulders were more imposing, it would make his head feel like it was more sunken in, solving some of those issues in proportion. But yeah, I think his body is too big.
Accidentally Epic says, with the cape thing, I meant embossed patterns that are on the Custodes capes.
Embossed patterns. Okay, so how do you shade those things without messing it up? Was that the original question?
Yeah.
I guess there's always several ways to approach everything.
First approach is always just to get good.
Yeah, that is always the first tip. Certain details like to be treated in certain ways. Sometimes it makes more sense to recess shade a detail. Sometimes it makes more sense to start dark and then highlight upwards, leaving behind some of that darkness in the recesses. Sometimes, and very often, a combination of those things is best. So it's hard to say because I never painted a Custodes the embossed pattern on something. But if you wanted like the best outcome without considering time expenditure or ability, I would say a thin, dark recess shade would make those details pop out from the cloak. So I would paint the whole cloak, shading and highlighting how I want it to be painted, and then I'd recess those embossed the details, and then I'd probably paint the details like gold or whatever color you wanted them to be. That's how I would do it. And then there'd probably be some back and forth with like, oh, I messed up with the base coat and got some of the gold into the recess. So now I'll pop back with that recess color and fix that issue. That's probably what I would do. But that's not considering like speed or ease or anything. That's just considering getting the best end result. Shave the details, yes. Appreciate Derpy Dewey reminding us of the question. Do you like that new vampire from Black Library? He seems properly thick. Yeah, Kaizo, something. Yes, that guy is sick. I think my only issue with him is that a lot of his cape covers his entire front torso, but otherwise he's a really cool model. And in fact, Alfonso Heraldez, the one and only Banshee, his first model painting a GW one in 3 years is that model. Cadio as his name? Kato Ezekiah or something like that. And he converted it, I think he converted it to have less of that cloak in front of the torso, and it looks so much better. This is when I figure out that he didn't convert it and the model just looks good. No glasses, who's this? Yeah, I wear contacts while I'm painting for extended periods of time just to avoid my dumb glasses getting in the way of the frame. I call him Kadia stands.
It doesn't stop his dumb head from getting in the way of the frame sometimes, though.
Nuh-uh. Hey, you better have some mercy on me, because I popped into that Thanksgiving stream a couple times, and let me tell you, every single time, not one, not two, but all three of you guys were not in frame.
I don't know what to tell you, Scott. We were working with some real narrow windows.
Yeah.
Also, we raised almost $400 for that charity.
Very nice. Thank you to everyone who swung by to donate for that charity stream. We really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, we had a good time.
You're I'm so smexy with my glasses on. I appreciate that, but we gotta get the shot. Well, we're all here, right? We're all here to see me paint skeletons. Poorly.
Have you you've been sponsored by Warby Parker before, right?
I haven't, but damn, have I tried.
They've never contacted you?
No, I've worn their glasses for fucking like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, Sam.
And I tried, I reached out to them and I didn't hear anything back, but I would love to. I love they have amazing designs, but also I love the system of donating glasses to people in need for every pair you buy. The Tom's shoes of glasses, as it were. Your charity stream. Get out of here, Dan. No one likes you. Just kidding. Looking forward to our game tonight, Dan. Me and Dan are playing our Escalation League match tonight. The first game at 750 points. What's the scenario we're playing? I actually don't know. Same. You know what? I haven't really been hiding their helmets at all, and I probably should be. And doing their feet less. Although I don't really need to do the head that much. Maybe just like the underside of some of these pock marks. I'm really just concerned about the torso. The torso is like that main big beefy element of metal that needs some more interest. The other parts, not so much.
You should freehand some stuff onto their breastplates.
Nah. Maybe on the unit champion. But on the main dudes,
Some glowing hot pink runes on all of them.
glowing hot pink runes. Yeah, okay. You've piqued my interest by invoking hot pink.
I think our armies might be secretly related because of all the hot pink.
You think so?
Yeah.
What if I told you there is no hot pink in any of my vampires?
I would say you're a liar.
Actually true.
He's lying, chat. He primed them hot pink first,
Yeah.
and then painted over it.
Yeah,
It's
there's
the
a
secret hidden hot pink.
yeah, there's an Easter egg in my paint scheme. If you sand my models, you'll find the hot pink.
10 years from now when he sells that army because he doesn't feel like he needs it anymore. Or no, they kill off AOS because Warhammer Fantasy is the only thing that people care about or whatever.
Yeah.
He sells his model. Someone's going to do the eBay miniatures rescue thing and strip Scott's army and go, what the fuck is all this hot pink?
It's like the renovation of a house.
Yeah, exactly.
Why'd they do this? I'll never know.
This wallpaper looks like it's made out of human skin.
Oh, God. What's your next few months roadmap look like? AOS, Escalation League, obviously anything else? That cricket looks awfully lonely behind. Oh, do you mean like for videos? I don't know. Honestly, I don't really know what my next videos are gonna be. I like plan one video at a time, for better or for worse.
Is that just because you can't work more than one video ahead?
Yeah, I don't really gain much from planning very far ahead because I can only really work on one at a time. But when Alex is done editing those courses and can help me edit my YouTube videos, which I am now actually, for the longest time I was kind of concerned about that, like kind of letting go, but going through these courses together with him as a way to like kind of cut his teeth in Premiere, he's learned so much so quickly, and he knows how, like, the way I like things now. And so I'm very confident that I could give my edit to Alex, and he could like get probably like 80% of the way there, or maybe even 70% of the way there without any of my intervention. So that'll speed things up, and then maybe more planning will be required.
You just have to fully let go and have Alex have an artistic voice as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a good, if anyone has a good idea, I'll take it. But it has to go through the filter of what I think is good. But there have been many times where Alex has suggested something about the course that I have been fully on board with. Hot pink wieners everywhere. It's the first message I read when I looked back at chat for the first time in 5 minutes. Nice. I've never been nice.
The people just trust Dan. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, he's a trustworthy person.
There's no reason to trust him. That's what I would say.
203.
Yeah. How can you trust a man with that many rocks in his pockets? I know I can't.
I can't either. Or bases videos. See that? Yeah, that would be a bad idea to do another base video. Those are always fun. Fun and easy to do.
People were pretty hyped about your most recent video.
Yeah. A lot of people appreciated the editorial work. I always never know. Now that I've made a video like that, there's a part of me that feels compelled to make every video like that standard of quality, but it would just take forever to make all those fucking videos, so I don't know. Did that FedEx guy say he fell on the monitor?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm definitely fucking opening that box today.
The corner is definitely smashed up pretty good.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he was a small guy. I don't think he's gonna have done a lot of damage to it.
Yeah. How can't you trust a man with that many pockets in his rock? Wait, pockets in his rock? Rocks in his pockets. Means he's got some sick ass pockets. Yeah, probably.
If he's got pockets in his rocks, then he has like 5D storage in his pants. He's got a pocket with rocks with pockets, with rocks in the pockets of the rock pockets in his pockets.
This is getting too deep.
He doesn't have a bag of holding or a pocket of holding. He has a rock of holding.
That's a D&D joke, right?
Yes, it is.
I got it. I understood a joke. How much snow did you get in Roseville? We're up to 3 inches in Elk River. Got a snow blow soon. Let's take a peek out in the hallway.
Yes, let's take a peek.
Oh man, I kind of want to like roll the tripod camera out there and just like let them see it.
I mean, we could do it. It's wireless.
It's still raging. Chat, you're coming with me.
Let's do this. Let's take a walk.
All right, we gotta up the exposure here. All right, chat. Oh, this is totally crooked.
All right, time to see how far the wireless transmitter works.
The alignment here. All right, here we go. All right, looking a little overexposed out there. This is kind of always the problem with trying to film snow, is you can never really see the snowflakes. But yeah, it's raging. There's my car. I arrived this morning at 6 a.m. and that's what it looks like. Yeah, so it's still going. Do.
Fun with tripods.
All right, we're through. Oh God, there's a tablet there. All right.
Did you have a good time on the trip, chat?
Chat, we went on a field trip. Hope you appreciated that.
I have one of the few Hondas with all-wheel drive, but I'll tell you what, I was going to have my snow tires put on yesterday, and then I canceled my appointment because the cat bit the shit out of my hand.
Dude, yeah. I didn't know that cat bites could become infected, but are cats' mouths like not very clean?
I mean, any creature that licks its own butthole is bad when it bites you. Dogs and cats. For some reason, there's this... I throw it around a lot as a joke, urban legend. There is an actual urban legend that dogs have clean mouths. It's totally false. Their mouths are like way worse than ours. Cats also. And yeah, my old cat and my new cat got into a fight, and I didn't intervene the proper way, and I just stuck my hand in there, and my cat just bit the shit out of the base of my thumb. And yeah, it's definitely infected. It's not that bad. It was much bigger yesterday, so my body is fighting it off, and maybe I don't need antibiotics. I hope. But
I love it. Everyone here is getting sick from like colds and stuff, and then Evan's over here fucking getting infected by a cat bite.
oh man, it bit the shit out of my hand. Yeah, like the bottom joint of my thumb is like swollen and locked up.
Damn.
And it hurt. I couldn't put on my gloves when I left today. Did you see me struggle to take off my glove when I got here, Scott?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. It's not good. It's really not good.
I like what Ionosaurus Rex said. Hey, it's Scott, your man of the scene here. Still fucking raging. Pay more minis, back to you. Reynolds says, hey Scott, I just want to thank you for the inspiration for the Escalation League. Been meaning to start a new army for 40K, but I hate the whole paint this army up in a few months so you could actually play, quote. And instead I hosted an Escalation League in my local club. We got 14 people attending and I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of people. That's a lot of unique games you're gonna play. Depending on how often you play, you might not even play one person more than once. That's cool, man. Or woman. I hope you have a lot of fun. I've heard a lot of people say they fired up an Escalation League because of that video. I had no intention for that to be like a guide on how to run an Escalation League or anything like that, but I'm super happy to hear all the people that have been firing up Escalation Leagues for their favorite game systems. It's honestly a super fun way to play a game.
Unfortunately, everyone's doing it for GW games. Boo.
Ooh. Yeah, we have an Escalation League for Song of Ice and Fire here locally as well.
Yeah, that I'm running.
You're running it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Scott didn't have the time, and I was like, bitch, we were supposed to start this 3 months ago.
The
I'm doing
Escalation,
it.
the Escalation League?
Yeah. Yeah, we were originally going to do it in summer, and then we held off because it was like, oh, Gen Con will be in the middle of it. And then we got back from Gen Con, and it was like, oh, well, we've got this other stuff going on, and so on.
Well, don't ask Dan when we were supposed to start the Age of Sigmar Escalation League. That was, that's been around for a while. Cat scratch fever is a real thing. Yeah. I feel like I've definitely heard that phrase before.
Yep.
That's funny. I want to get a cat again. I miss my kitty. Hey, hey, hey. Dan. I love you, buddy. It's on both of us, you know? We both wanted to make it happen. We just didn't do it until we did it.
I mean, that's what we're doing too. 2 games a month. A game every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Although for the Thanksgiving holiday, we buffered the schedule by a week, and we'll do the same thing for Christmas/New Year's.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for the Source League as well.
Nice.
John says, you want a cat? I can get you a cat, dude.
Dude, are you going to give me Davi, dude? I'll take Davi.
I think he's just going to trap a cat from the neighborhood.
Okay.
The funny part is it's my old cat that is 100% the problem.
Interesting. Old cat not playing nice with the new cats.
Oh wow, that sounds great. How do I delete that?
Chatbots. I can't believe this is the worst place to advertise this kind of thing. Like, oh yes, I am interested in chatbots. Now my whole fucking chat knows that I'm a fucking fraud. Are you joking? Like, even if I was gonna do that, why would you put it in my chat? Anyone know what Scott's brush using currently? Not an annoying question at all. Read in. That's why I'm here to answer those kind of questions. I am using a DaVinci Maestro.
What the fuck are my mod tools?
Series 35, size 2.
Goodbye.
This brush has a particularly long brush hairs.
I'll take Dobby from you, but I don't know if Lou's gonna be very happy about that.
I'll be playing in the tournament this weekend, Dan. Scott, are you
Wait.
going to do the song tournament this weekend?
Tournament?
Yeah, there's a tournament at the store.
I thought that was like later.
Nope. This weekend,
Um,
December 3rd,
I said I was interested on Facebook. I definitely am interested. Is it Sunday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay. There's a good chance that I will be playing in it. Because I
did sign up, Dan.
I would love to be a part of it. The long brush hairs piqued my interest. Yeah, with this brush in particular, you can really sneak it into certain areas just because of that length. Also, because the brush hairs are longer, the brush itself is more flexible. With a shorter hair brush, you get stiffer brush hairs, which is sometimes preferred. Noximus44, thanks to the Prime sub. If you guys didn't know, you can attach your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and sub to one free account a month. You have to re-up that sub every single time. It doesn't happen automatically, but we appreciate your Prime subs.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, all I care is that you can still see the mini.
There were quite a few times where you couldn't quite see it, particularly when you were talking about the hairs being able to get places on the mini like this, and then your face occluded what you were painting.
Hey,
Also,
why don't you yell at me when I do that?
because you're talking. The Kunker theory. No, excuse me. The Cunter theory. Subscribing with Prime.
Jesus Christ. It kind of blows me away how long I've been doing this and how just not good I am at staying out of the fucking way of the camera.
It's really hard.
It is really hard, but I feel like I should have figured it out by now. Live streaming definitely helps because you are reminded more often of the fact that you are blocking the camera than just when you're painting alone and take the footage back to Premiere Pro and you're like, well, I can't use any of this footage.
Yep. Don Giovanni, EU West, subscribed with Prime. I'm assuming that's what EUW stands for.
Yeah.
And I Free Refill, subscribing with Prime 11 months.
Whoo!
One away from a year.
I couldn't quite get that. Could you repeat it?
You know what?
I'll show myself. Don't test me. I'll ask for your money. I have no shame.
Oh my god!
Viewer picking up a new Kill Your Friend shirt. Woo! We gotta wear those shirts on stream. Love your YouTube content. I have learned a lot from you. Appreciate it, Noximus. Thank you for the support, both monetarily and also when watching vids.
We should make that the compensation for appearing on stream. Whenever we have a new guest on, they get a Kill Your Friends t-shirt.
Yeah, sure. Happy with that. Pew. Done.
I signed up at the store, Dan. I sat there and did it. I think I even paid money. About to go to Dr. Worm and renegotiate this merger.
I don't know if I already talked about this. How's the Northman League going? Everyone keeping up with their painting? No.
Well,
But some of us are.
most of us are.
I got really hung up on trying to get my fucking proxies for Graveguard printed, man. I'm just not interested in redoing all the supports for those models, but I figured out a partial solution. If I just replace the supports on the feet of the model with thicker and chunkier supports, then the models print nicely. And so now that I have that solution, now I'm happy just to go through the other 7 that I haven't supported yet and just do that minor solution. I don't care if there are like 60 islands on the model. I'll just fucking let it rip and print them all. Just so I have something to paint. I mean, I don't necessarily hate the models for Graveguard, but I just want more vampires in my army.
Any guests lined up for Trapped Under Plastic in the future? I'm waiting for Don Haney to convince John, spelled wrong, he needs historicals in his life.
See, that would be an interesting reason to have Don on to talk about historicals. We'd love to have Don back, but we don't have any plan at the moment. The podcast is really a shoot at the hip. And I'm glad that that's not super obvious. But sometimes we don't know what the topic is until Jones shows up in the morning. And we figure it out then and there. I want JW to release a vampire that doesn't have its mouth wide open to show fangs. Ooh, that's an interesting idea.
I saw someone in the comments suggest that Alex and I do an episode of Trapped Under Plastic. The men behind the scenes. And I'm like, Alex doesn't really paint minis.
No,
I don't know. I don't know if we could carry a whole podcast episode about painting minis.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Alex knows a lot about painting minis now, though.
Yeah, that's true.
After getting through all of Ben's course, which is so heavy.
He's been working on Ben's course for like months.
Yeah, but it's done. Yay.
I still have to do the audio for that.
Yes. I just don't really know the best way to do that. Why don't you just come in a day early on a stream and just do it? If you have time.
I'll consider it.
Okay.
I mean, having time.
Oh, okay. Who's Ben? Ben Cantor is one of the guest teachers in my masterclass course series. He painted the witch model, and that masterclass was sold during the Kickstarter campaign. And it isn't available yet for normal purchasing, but it will be sometime soon, probably Q1 next year.
Yeah, you just posted a Kickstarter update, right?
Yep.
I didn't look at it, but
That's okay.
I know it exists.
That's okay.
But yeah, Ben Cantor, Metal AF Miniatures.
Yep.
I just linked his Instagram for those that are not familiar.
Yeah,
he's a pretty good mini painter.
he's pretty good.
I mean, like, solid middle of the road kind of guy.
Yeah. His process is super interesting. I really like, because it kind of like developed from him being a colorist for like Hollywood productions. And he took like a lot of the knowledge that he had from that and applied it to mini painting. And so it's like a very structured process, which I always appreciate. Would you say he's decent? Absolutely.
Yeah, he's all right, Scott. Come on.
his first year competing at Crystal Brush, he took 3rd place overall in Best in Show. It was amazing. Week. I bought his course, looking forward to it. Nice. Hey Scott, have you printed or painted anything from Loot Studios? No, I really haven't, but goddamn the amount of times people ask me about that. Either you're all shills for Loot Studios or there's something worth it with this Patreon.
I think they just put out a ton of stuff.
Do they? I mean, you guys honestly have piqued my interest. I don't recognize the same name continuing to ask that question, so I gotta imagine that it's just quality stuff. I should definitely check it out. Obviously, I know the name.
Tonight is the night that I am actually setting up my printer.
Oh.
I held off because I was waiting for a. You know, it's like one thing after another. Oh, wait a minute. My room in the basement's not warm enough. I have to solve that problem.
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute. I need a spacer to go with this spacer. That kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I think I've got everything in place. I just need to pick up a couple washers on the way home. And then I can set up my resin. I have 3 different resin tubs for my 3 different resins. I'm not going to bother draining and refilling. It's going to be great.
That's an idea.
It's going to be easy. Everything's going to work right the first time.
You got, let's see if he's got everything he needs, chat. Do you have, whether or not you have multiple tubs for resin, you still might need to clean them out every now and then. Do you have something to squeegee out the resin out of your vat?
Yes.
Not necessarily required, but do you have any replacement FEPs in case you puncture a hole? Okay. Do you have something to pry the model off of the build plate, like a putty knife? Some kind of...
I don't, but I have a different solution for that because I'm using magnetic build plates.
Okay.
So the build plate itself is how you remove them.
In the event that you need to put resin from the FEP back into the bottle because of a print failure, do you have a funnel?
Yes.
And a filter?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have some way of cleaning the FEP like flawlessly or close to flawlessly without scratching it?
Yes.
What is that?
The built-in cleaning mechanism of the printer, which is it does a burn-in layer and you peel it off.
Oh, okay. What if you want to clean it without that process? Do you have something for that?
Maybe.
Okay. Cotton swabs
Yeah.
are great. I use lens cleaners for glasses from Zeiss. You can buy like a pack of 500 for like some cheap amount. Do you have like a cleaning solution? Like by solution, I mean like, is it like a pickle jar container with isopropyl in it and like a toothbrush or some kind of ultrasonic cleaner?
I have the Elegoo cleaning and curing station.
Okay. That's really all I could think of.
The only thing that I want to add that I don't have is something to maintain the temperature exactly inside the printer enclosure. And there are obviously ways to do that with little small heater things, and I will do that at some point, but I'm not doing that initially.
Wait, so you're concerned about the temp of the room, right?
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about brewer's belts?
Oh yeah, I've heard about that too, yeah.
Okay, that's what I currently use to keep my my vat warm. I wrap it around in a brewer's belt, and that does a great job keeping everything warm. Oh, gloves, you have gloves?
Yeah.
Neoprene?
I have more neoprene gloves than I'll need my whole fucking life.
You have a mask?
Yeah.
Okay.
The room in my basement also has an exhaust fan in it, which is pretty sweet.
Okay. Do you have some way of when you use the automatic cleaning solution for the thing that cures a sheet of reliably getting that thing off? And don't tell me adding a support to it and curing it to that, because that does not work all the time. Plastic razors are a good idea.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yes.
I use rubber tipped tweezers because if you use metal ones, they'll scratch the FEP and puncture a hole and then you're fucked. But I use little tweezers with rubber tips, and that doesn't puncture a hole in my FEP. And I can always get that cured sheet of resin off of the FEP without breaking it and causing a bunch of shards, like putting a support down in a corner often does to me. Did that make sense at all or no?
Yes.
Okay.
This guy's used 2,100 gloves since February.
That's amazing.
That sounds like either you're printing a lot or you have very inefficient processes where you keep taking off the gloves and then realizing you need to glove up again.
Do you have the will to actually do supports over until they work?
You just have to really know what you're doing with supports, which I definitely don't. But
What about patience and serenity? Yeah.
Scott, you know me. You'd describe me as a patient man, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I think Evan is definitely cut out for 3D printing. No, I don't know. He'll do fine. Honestly, I am not the greatest person to get an impression of 3D printing about, because I think if you bought a printer, you bought their resin, and you use their profile for curing it, and you also buy from reliable brands that do good supports, that probably solves like 90% of all the issues that I tend to go through. It's because I'm trying to fucking redline 3D printing, but not intentionally all the time. But I'm always trying to get it like the max quality, and it just leads to so many problems. But
definitely will say that from my limited research and hanging out in these communities, it appears that a lot of the things that people blame on the printer actually have a lot more to do with the files and the supports.
yeah,
There are a lot of things that are advertised as pre-supported out there that the supports are not good. They're in fact like worse than auto supports. And you'll get these failed prints and you'll go, I have to keep adjusting my exposure time and yada yada. And it's like, no, it's just the supports are dog shit.
yeah,
And you have to do it again yourself. Good luck.
yeah. Do you plan on doing some kind of resin exposure finder test to figure out?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the cones of calibration initially.
Okay. The only one I've ever used is the Amer Labs town test.
Yeah, I'll probably do a town test after I have the cones dialed in. Yeah, I know. We've talked about that before, Dan.
I saw John lamenting. It's all about the cones. I saw John lamenting about a magnetic build plate. Have you tried that before, John? I've never tried one of those before. Metal AF subscribing. There he is, Ben Cantor. 4 months watching Scooter with no ads like a boss. Highly recommended. Also, I recommend 3D Printing Pro, YouTube for great success at supports. I've had a lot of luck with, oh my God, my boys, the Atlas support group, their videos on YouTube. But,
yeah, Atlas, anything that's supported by Atlas has good supports is basically the consensus.
yeah, but also they have good videos on their YouTube channel. But I know 3D Printing Pro, he also has great videos, so I can relate. John says that magnetic build plates or printing plates suck worse than cat bites.
I will also say I shouted him out last week, and I'll do it again. Once in a six side, used to do supports professionally for a few different patrons and so on, and he has some killer guides on 3D printing.
Excellent.
Dr. Formis. Those sick transitions come from Scott's True Metallic Metal Techniques, which you can look at in Scott's video from like a month ago, a little over a month ago. Let me see if I can be a good producer and find the link.
These ones were done with an airbrush.
Yeah, you cheated.
Yes, I cheated.
However, the fundamentals of the technique aren't that different, where you're doing
That is true.
shading from a brighter chromey color to a dark silver and even into a shade color.
That is true.
This video also has a lot of educational content because it's basically a real-time sit down and paint like one of these streams. It's a 40-minute video.
Yeah, I got a couple of those. Painting a face, generically blending, doing NMM, doing OSL, where I'll just sit and do that whole process start to finish and kind of do a stream of conscious dialogue.
A paint stream of conscious?
Yes. Just basically, I mean, it's not really what these streams are. We kind of talk less about the painting process and more about random shit. Not at all a bad thing, but just kind of the reality.
The truth is, the painting's less important than arguing about Star Wars. So.
That is definitely true.
Or about what good dwarves are.
I like to, as I kind of highlight up with the silver on top of that blue I just did with the airbrush, I like to often kind of like speckle it in, like I'm getting some kind of like battle damage toward the corners. I also have some of that blue that I airbrush on my palette so that I can solve issues like recessed shades that I messed up, or in this case, I think that speckling with that silver went a little bit too far down into that blue, and so I'm gonna come back in with a brush and try to bring some of that blue back on top of that silver. So I'll put some down, clean my brush out, and then feather it out. Nice, nice, nice. Want a soda?
Need a refill?
No, I can't drink 2 sodas. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I get sick when I do that.
See, his addiction isn't that bad, chat.
It's really because Amber's here. If she wasn't here, I'd fucking do it.
She'll come running out here.
Yeah.
Can't have another soda, Scott!
She'll be like, I heard you cracked that second one. She's coming after me.
Are you sure your body can handle that?
It certainly can. It's better this way. It's a hobby hangout. I'm betting a lot of us are hobbying right now while listening. Yeah, probably. Probably.
Or wishing they were while at work.
Yeah.
Some of us are wishing they were while at work while someone's hobbying in front of them.
Oh, is that you?
Yeah, I can't hobby over here.
You can't.
Not really. Not exactly a lot of light.
No. Kind of the opposite. Huddleston, I feel that, bro. I feel that.
See, I thought you were going to say, Huddleston, I literally stop work to do the stream.
Hey. Basically, yes, I do that. I know this is all part of the job description. I enjoy the stream because I would say in 9 out of 10 painting streams, I'm just kind of painting whatever I want, as opposed to painting like things that I have to paint for a video. So it's always kind of a thing that I look forward to because it gives me the opportunity to work on my armies and so on and so forth. Which is why you've seen me paint skeletons for like the last 6 fucking streams. Sorry.
Yeah, instead of stuff you have to paint for a video, it's stuff you have to paint for a gaming league.
Right. But this is still exciting for me. Fortunately. I've been basing 5,500 points of Ultramarines I painted over the last year in one big run. Today I'll cross that finish line as I'm watching. Woo! That's fucking hype, bro.
Is your basing scheme something sick, or is it like I put dust down and painted it red and they're on Mars?
Here's my wife.
I want super dope bases.
Christmas gift for Evan, Frontier gaming case with an LED light so he can hobby too. Hey, I got an extra one. I think I actually have more than one extra one.
This is truly the problem around here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's so many airbrushes in this drawer.
Yeah.
There's also stuff that you've just bought a million of.
Like what?
You have like 50 bottles of alcohol in that drawer.
Oh yeah, and like 20 sweat palette sponges.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Scott
bro.
has like a lifetime supply of isopropyl
You,
alcohol.
you never want to need that and not have it, you know?
Sure. I mean, I don't disagree, but it's just kind of funny where you open a drawer and it's the whole drawer is bottles of isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the downside of picking a sick basing scheme is that you like kind of commit yourself to doing it for your entire army. Ah, shit.
Luckily, my sick basing scheme is also really easy, which is kind of the reason I did that.
Why the fuck is there so much Vaseline over here? Luckily, none of that.
I mean, in fairness to you, Counter Theory, you are doing 5,500 points, which is a lot.
Yeah. That probably makes sense, honestly, to go for like a 3D printing thing.
I'm excited to make John mad with my dragons.
John Schaefer.
No. Our mutual friend podcast, John. John Ninas.
John Ninas. Oh, okay. Are you playing him in a game or something?
No, I'm talking about he doesn't like lights built into Warhammer models.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and I'm doing illuminated fire on my dragon bases. So
To defend John, I think maybe he doesn't like that for competition stuff.
oh yeah, that might be that's fair. Of course, apparently that's what's the actual magazine that I was talking about a while back? Miniature Scale Modeler or whatever.
Oh, is it an actual physical magazine?
Yes.
Oh shit, I don't know. Scale model supply? No, that's the store. Scale
the
model
store.
expo. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
Whatever. They were taking photos of minis at the various competitions that Michael was going to, and he was talking about how minis with LEDs in them were hot. Those were getting a lot of photo features.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That might be on the upswing.
You heading out, wifey? For what?
Caleb Sweet says, anyone get any sweet deals on Black Friday or Cyber Monday? I've got about $1,000 worth of Necromunda on the way toy door. I think he meant to my door, but you know.
Yeah, probably.
Freudian slip.
Ooh. I didn't buy any minis for Black
Good luck
Friday
out there.
Yeah, good luck. Drive safe.
A
It's
monitor.
Why'd you buy a smart?
The smart features were not why I bought it, but that was the cheapest monitor that I could find on sale. That was 4K and 32 inches in size. It was like $120. I needed it for checking focus. Remember I talked about that? Amber's like, yeah, I talk about buying things to her a lot. A couple of Song of Ice and Fire starter sets in a hero box. I picked up a dice tray from some mini painting degenerate ninja and got some super sexy short shorts.
Yeah.
One size smaller. All right, Mike needs a man.
Son and me are the same.
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking about earlier in the stream. I got the 2-player starter. I'm keeping the Starks out of that, and I'm giving the Lannisters to a friend. And I got the Greyjoy starter, and I got 2 Free Folk starters.
So, why did you do that?
Because why not?
Because you have a couple of armies to play for Song of Ice and Fire. You're not aesthetically interested in those armies. You might not ever get to them. Couple of those reasons.
None of those are true though.
Okay.
I mean, well, okay, the one that I have other armies, that is true.
Yeah.
But I'm aesthetically interested in pretty much all the factions.
Okay.
Free Folk doesn't really tickle my fancy to the same degree, but they're still fine. I like the chariots and stuff like that. Those are cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. We got plowed in. Awesome.
Oh.
Plowed in.
Okay, we
That's all it is.
didn't get plowed in. Okay.
I also might have. I can probably power through it, but I have a tow strap in my car. I'm pretty sure, so I can just.
Make sure you leave it at the same time.
Okay.
I think we're going to the same place.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
but that
okay.
is in the same direction.
Yeah.
See ya. Oh no! Thanks for the prime sub. 6 months on a 2-month streak.
I was gonna yell it out, but then we got sidetracked. Yeah. So I bought all of the armies so I can play all the armies.
All right.
I've hit that tipping point where I own more than half of the stuff in the game, so now I just have to own all of it.
Oh God. Does that mean that whenever something new comes out, you're gonna buy it?
Yeah.
You say that reluctantly. Let me just remind you that you do not need to do that.
Yeah.
Let's start a GoFundMe to get all the Miniac crew Jeeps. Yeah. Sometimes it really bites me in the ass. My penchant to own shitty vehicles at all times.
Scott drives a practical car for a practical man.
Yes. But every winter, I'm reminded of that practicality sucking ass.
Should really put some winter tires on that bad boy.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference.
Probably. Is that just like a different tread on it? Like, what does it do?
They're both a different rubber compound and yes, a significantly different tread.
Okay.
Has a lot more siping, which makes it actually hold snow to the tire more, and snow tends to hold snow. But then it also has larger main side channels, which help it excavate any extra from underneath it.
Interesting.
Stopping distance between all seasons and snow tires is generally 1/3 the distance on ice and snow. It's a humongous difference.
So if you don't have the capabilities of changing your own tires, what would you have to? Oh,
The way I do it, I just have 2 sets of wheels. So I have a set of wheels in my garage that have snow tires on them.
okay.
So normally I change them myself. And then this year I was like, well, it's already cold and I don't want to do it. And I'm going to get an oil change soon anyway. So I'll have them do it at the same time. And that was supposed to happen yesterday morning. And then I canceled that appointment because I was like, my hand fucking hurts. I'm going to lay in bed all day.
Same with my penchant for hatchbacks in Minnesota. Much softer rubber as well. Like pencil eraser is soft in temps above freezing.
Yes, true winter tires. The one of the biggest differences is that the rubber is actually soft in the cold because the compound is just so different.
Yeah.
It also means that if you drive on them in like 70-degree weather, they just like annihilate themselves. I mean, like not instantly, but you're doing every mile you go is like driving 100 miles in colder temperatures or whatever.
Oh,
You're just
no.
wearing them down super fast.
Been loving the podcast with Ninjon. You guys have been keeping my willingness to hobby alive. Thanks for that. You're very welcome. Boopity Baby. Love that name. Dicebot started watching Castlevania per you saying it was cool on top. I shall say it's pretty cool. I agree. It is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
As someone who loves vampires but isn't super keen on like anime as like a genre of like art, I really like it. Isn't it November 29th? Yes, it is. Yeah, I've never used winter tires, which
It's life-changing.
probably not wise.
Yeah, I also find that my tires actually reach their rated lifespan when I use winters. Because when you drive on all seasons in the winter, you just spin them a lot, and that wears them down really fast. And then you go, what the fuck? These were rated to last like 50,000 miles, and I only got 20,000 miles out of them. That's actually the winters.
I have not watched Blood of Zeus. Have I played a game of AOS yet? Yeah, I have. I've
We've played quite a few.
I've only played 2.
Quite a few.
Um,
Between all of us, we've played quite a few.
yeah. I played 2. I'm playing a 3rd tonight. Tonight. You like the League of Legends anime? I can't watch it because I hate League of Legends. I have to hate it. Okay, I'm a Dota player. I can't like it. By the way, where can I get that cool Skelly Boy black and white poster you always have in the background of your older videos? That was a limited edition poster that is no longer available. There may still be a red one available, but it's not the skeleton. It's a different design, but I don't think so. All your stuff painted for tonight? No. I was really struggling to get those vampires printed, and so I'm going to use these skeletons as a proxy for that unit. But everything else is painted. That one unit is not, though. But I'm going to use a partially painted unit as a proxy. So hopefully that's okay. Rude, mine is. Dan, you're just excited to say that because your army's never fully painted, you bastard. But now there's mine, so. All right, silver done. Let's do a little bit of white highlights. These will go really fast because hilariously, there isn't much visible bone on these boner boys. Except for the bald guys. The bald guys got a lot of bone showing. Get good. Thinking of getting myself a box of Underworlds for Christmas. The Narwhal, because of them boner boys, they're good. What's my basic bone recipe? I don't know what it is. I don't have one, but for this army, it's base coat of scale 75 deep blue, which should be somewhere on this table, but it isn't. I don't know why. A zenithal highlight of Vallejo ice yellow. And then because of that interaction between those two colors, you get this mid-tone that's like slightly green, which I really like. It gives the boner boys a good spectral vibe. And then on some of the other areas that have lots of detail, like on the forearm right here, and like was that the forearm? Yeah. Another forearm. I'll give it a wash of Drakenhof Nightshade. And then I'm going to highlight very briefly with some, I think I do pure white, but that sounds like a bad idea. So I'm actually gonna do pure white mixed with rotting flesh for a little bit of a off-white highlight. Speaking of, oh, here it is, perfect. I can tell you, or can I show you? Show me a basic bone recipe. I'm playing a game in an hour using bases with action figures hot glued to them. Are the action figures just like absolutely gigantic?
I mean, I'm down.
Are
I
you?
want to play a miniatures game that's in action figure scale. It's like playing pretend when you're a kid, with like Barbies and G.I. Joes or whatever, except with actual rules.
Do you like Street Fighter?
I not enough to buy a $1,200 game or whatever that full set costs.
Yeah, but that is basically a miniature war game with action figure scale models.
Yeah, no, and the models are pre-painted and actually kind of pre-painted well.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not worth the price. It's that buys a lot of Song and Ice and Fire stuff. Or whatever.
Well, soon you won't have any left to buy, so.
Oh, dude, I still have a lot to buy.
That makes me sad.
Why?
Because you have so much left to buy. That's so much money that can be spent on Miniac merch. Available now at miniac.co. No, I don't fucking know. You can buy whatever you want. 1/12 scale for 6-inch figures, 1/6 for 12-inch figures. Yeah, they're like Barbie doll size stand-in for knights. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Standing in for knights. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, that's a kind of sick army idea.
I mean, it works.
Where you just, instead of your big metal guy, you just literally have like, yeah, we've got this giant guy with a really big gun.
At first, I thought he was gonna say we have like Barbie doll size models for like fucking Space Marines, and I was gonna be like, that ain't gonna work, Chief.
That's gonna be a really big table even to just play Kill Team.
Right? Yeah, it's like 10 feet wide.
But it would be awesome to just have a couple opposed G.I. Joes on bases, and just that's what it is. They're just genetically engineered super large soldiers.
And that's how you highlight a skeleton face.
I was pretty tempted to pick up one of those Joy Toy Space Marines at the Source on Black Friday.
What is that?
They're pretty sick. I've watched a few videos of them. They're very, very posable. Joy Toy makes awesome figures.
Are you an action figure guy?
I'm not, but I kind of am, but I'm not. I'm totally not, but kind of.
It totally is okay to be an action figure guy.
I don't have any, so I'm not. Actually, that's not strictly speaking true. I have a Edward Allan Poe action figure.
You have an Edward Allan Poe action figure?
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know where it is. I have that, and I have Elongated Man, which is a real DC superhero. I swear to God.
I don't even know what to think about this.
If I never discovered the hobby, never even heard of it, where would I be today? Is the question he wants you to ask yourself. But I'm asking myself that first.
All right.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be here. Scott wouldn't be either. If neither of us discovered mini painting, we wouldn't be on a mini painting stream.
That is true. I mean, the easiest answer is that I'd probably be a software engineer. I probably, maybe I'd be a videographer of some kind. I probably would have done the software engineering thing and then hated it, then made a job something else. In other words, Evan is swimming in ladies. If you never discovered the hobby, okay, that was the question. Here's a reason why, unrelated to that question, why doing highlights later in the process is nice. I add some overspray on this bone with some red, and I can just apply a quick layer or two of color, and bada bing, bada boom, I solved my overspray issue. Very nice. Probably be a software engineer, yeah. Before I was doing YouTube, I was trying to make a career as a videographer in the commercial space. And what I was doing for a little bit was reaching out to local companies like, there's one here called I Like You, and like offering to do a promo for their company for free so I could like build out my portfolio. And I'm not saying that's like the best thing to build out your portfolio, is to do free work, but that's what I was doing. And I was gonna do one for the Source, but they had like a lot going on when I asked them. Like the owner had like passed away at that time when I had like reached out to them, and so they weren't really available to do it. Yeah, I did a couple of those, and then I was like, wait, I should make a YouTube channel.
Again. Didn't you have a gaming YouTube channel way back in the day?
Yes, been playing Crisis 2. Undercutting everyone else in the space, hooray! I mean, yeah, but like, as a kid, I mean, I wasn't really a kid, but as like someone with zero experience and zero, like ability to prove that like what I was gonna produce for these companies was like any good, I didn't have any of that, so I just figured no one was gonna pay for it. Dan's like, what? You want to cut some promos for the Source? That offer's so good? Nah.
I don't know. You just have to fake it till you make it on that kind of stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. I just, I don't know. I just thought that no one would pay for that. I was gonna do a video ad for the Source, Dan. Like I was gonna interview. I learned about this process from a company that I loved called Still Motion. And it was like you do like pre-interviews, figure out what the company is like at its heart, at its core, and then you do other interviews to like kind of like siphon out a narrative from the interviews and then form like a really heartwarming story about the company. Obviously, you have to kind of pick and choose what companies you do that for. Like you can't do that kind of story for like giant conglomerates because they're not like super easy to write a narrative about. For like a a home company though, like a local like game store, you can easily do that kind of narrative in an interview. And so yeah, it's gonna interview a couple employees, get some B-roll, and kind of string together a little thing that you might post on social media or something like that, or like your personal YouTube channel or Facebook page. This was like 6 years ago. Yeah, faking it until you make it is definitely a route that people have taken. I think like Casey Neistat like lied on his application for like what his capabilities were. Luc Lafreniere, or I don't know how to say his name, for LTT.
You got it.
He lied about like his capabilities with like Premiere Pro and stuff like that. Got him the opportunity. But like I don't know.
They were just talking about that on the most recent WAN show, kind of. They weren't talking about the lie, but that like the question was asked, would Luke hire Linus for Luke tech tips back in the day? And he was like, the job was pretty much for sure happening when I went in for the interview and we just hung out and talked all day. That's like a really good sign, regardless of capabilities. So yeah, he definitely fibbed on his application back in the day to get in the door, but the vibe check was good.
Okay. Oh, that's nice, Spilbo Baggins. What's the topic right now, if I might ask? Girl painting. It is about, I don't know, the conversation came from, I wanted to start as like a videographer with no background. It's like, there are a couple approaches you can take. You can like try to build up your backlog and create a portfolio by doing free work for people. Or you could do something like, you could charge a rate and I don't know if pretend is the right word, but kind of pseudo pretend to have abilities so you're not like undercutting the whole market. Because it is kind of a scummy thing to like offer free work. You kind of undervalue everybody else's work, and you give unrealistic expectations to people who are looking for like video work or creative work similar to that. So it's like, there is some blame to people who do that kind of free labor.
My piece of advice for anyone who's thinking, oh yeah, I could do something like that. It's not don't do it. It's what you say is, I'm going to do all the work like you're paying for it, and I'm going to show you the product, but I won't give you the product until you pay for it. So you're still going to do the legwork, you're still going to cut your teeth, and they're still going to get a good deal out of it because they get to see everything up front without having to pay anything down.
Yeah.
But you still put the product behind the payment and say, if you think my work is worth it at the end of it, then you'll pay me for it. And if you don't, it'll just have giant watermarks all over it and big sad face. And that's fine. That's actually a good way to do work for hire when you don't have a portfolio to lean on and you want someone to buy in and don't want them to take the risk. I have done that for audio stuff. However, it's very important to stick to your guns on that and not cave and give them anything for free. Yeah. You're not wrong, Yanosaurus Rex. Too many entry-level jobs be like, entry-level position requires 3 to 4 years experience. Sometimes you just have to say you got it. My favorite is jobs in the IT space that require certifications for products like, certification and 3 years of experience for like a new thing that came out this year. It's like, it's impossible.
Skuro Mezzo says, can't really fake it when you're trying to get work as a videographer though, unless you're stealing someone else's content. Anyone considering you is going to ask for a sample reel. That actually wasn't true in my experience. I was dealing with companies that had never worked with a videographer before.
Yep.
And so they just don't know the questions to ask. But you are totally right. Any legit company is going to ask for a reel. Even when a videographer emails me and they're like, hey, I want to edit your videos, the first question I ask is, show me a reel. Like, show me what you can do. Because that is what you should ask. Mycelium Veins, thanks for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. cybersecurity. Did you guys hear about that Anchor Eufy debacle?
Oh, dude. It's so bad.
It's so bad, yeah. I have a Eufy vacuum. And so
Sure, it doesn't have cameras on it, Scott?
It doesn't have cameras on it, thankfully. But my God, if it did, I'd fucking burn that thing.
So bad. That's another one they talked about on WAN Show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That fucking blew my mind.
Yeah.
The response to it as well.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah. We'll encrypt the fucking video feed.
We're gonna encrypt this thing that we're not supposed to be doing, so people stop asking us questions about it.
Yeah. That was so bad. It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty rough indeed, Hersher.
Yeah. Pretty fucking bad.
Girl Painting says, fake it till you make it depends highly about the work in question. If we're talking about a low-risk office job versus a tattoo artist where you would really hurt people if you fake your skills. Right, definitely a spectrum, as always with life.
On the other hand, I've seen really bad tattoos from very accomplished tattoo artists. Everyone has a bad day sometimes.
That's true.
Also, most people that just start out as a tattoo artist work as a shop bitch for like a year, and they practice all the tattoos on themselves. Nobody's got worse tattoos than tattoo artists, because they always do their first 2 or 3 tattoos on themselves, and some of those can be pretty rough. Luckily, they generally put it in places you won't normally see them. Mike Genie says, someone out there is the world's worst tattoo artist, and someone else has an appointment with them tomorrow. And that is true.
Space Toy, Eufy, wait, I own a Eufy doorbell.
Oh, you're one of the lucky ones.
You should, if it's got a video camera on it, you should go and watch Linus Tech Tips Eufy. There's a fragment of their podcast, The WAN Show.
I'll link it, hang on.
Yeah, you should watch it just so you know what you're getting into with that company at the moment. Because if I were you, I'd replace it. But maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you don't care about that stuff. So, but you can decide for yourself.
YouTube search, when are you going to get better at this?
Wise wants to see me hang dong. I'm fine with that. I don't have a camera at my house. It's not an actual concern of mine.
Yeah, and that's a sub-brand of Anchor, by the way. And LMG immediately announced that they would not work with the company ever again. It's that bad.
I will say the average person has probably less care about security than like someone in the IT space.
That's true, but when you have a specific selling point of your product of no cloud, no connection, no problem, or whatever the phrasing was on their website.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that actually it's sending unencrypted data streams live to their site.
Yeah.
Like the exact opposite of the marketing claim for their doorbell.
And you can fucking stream it in VLC or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. If you have the address for that account, it's unencrypted. You can just open it as a live feed in VLC. Yeah. It's real bad. It's not just like, oh yeah, they're misusing the data, like the normal privacy stuff where it's like, like Facebook just got fined by Ireland for like $250 million because they misused data in some period. And that's like the sort of thing we expect. This is some next level stuff where it's like the exact opposite, 100% exact opposite of the marketing claim about the product. And it's video. Like, big fucking yikes.
Big yikes. I'm gonna mix up an intermediate blue color here. I'm noticing that my rotting flesh color is just a little bit too bright. It's a little bit too bright of a layer.
With Spartacus, or excuse me, no, with part circus. I don't know. I can't kern it. Rating with a party 11.
Hey, thanks for the rate, guys. Appreciate it. Were you painting? What were you doing in the other stream? Welcome in, Raiders, indeed. Wispus Art Circus. We had an industry issue years ago where the classroom video feeds at a computer, you could just alter the private URL and stream anything in their entire brand.
Yeah.
Hello, indeed. This looks amazing. Thank you. Just working on a unit of Soulblight Gravelord. I think they're called Death Rattle. I've been forgetting to paint the backs of their caps. Oh no, I've been nailing those puppies. Okay. Should have been ogres. There will always be ogre appreciators out there. It'll happen sometime, I bet. I think GW's ogres are sick. Always liked them.
Hey, Scott, I've followed your work since 2018 when I picked up Warhammer. Recently, I picked up my brushes again and said, F it, I'ma paint my very first face ever. The knowledge I had from your Missing Link video and follow-ups made it actually decent. Thank you for not only rekindling my love for mini painting, but actually inspiring me to do live streams myself and share my progress via social media.
Awesome.
That's from Der Nagel.
Der Nagel. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that the first face you did wasn't too bad and that you're pretty proud of it. You know, it's only up from here, man. The more you do it, the more fun it gets. I find that, like, when you kind of get to that point where you can produce something that you're happy with, it's almost intoxicating in a way. It's like, oh man, I can do that. What else can I do? And you kind of just keep trying. You just keep getting better and better and just keeps looking better and better. It's a great feeling. I have been drawing a Scottish lady for a commission. Oh, cool. Can't tell if that shield's TMM or NMM. It's most certainly TMM. Sweetly. Those bone daddies look great. Thank you. I'm happy with them as well. There are still a couple of issues with my scheme that I haven't like fully figured out, but I don't think it really matters. Oh wait, I did the thing where I pulled from the wrong pile. This is looking good. Are you using the same technique as this one on the recent TMM video? I'm using like a lighter version of that process because I don't want to take as long as I did on that guy. So it's like that model. If you watched my most recent video, that the big skeleton guy you saw me paint in that video was essentially like my test model for my Soulblight Gravelord. That kind of determined the colors and where I wanted them to go, but not necessarily the technique. And then these guys are a little bit more of an efficient version of that scheme.
The Necro Gold is from scale 75, right?
Yes. Necro Gold.
Super Big Monk says, I can't wait for LVO. getting some kill team in there, painting my Kroot as chickens. I love the scheme, but I have a couple guys left. I'm slowly losing my motivation to paint them as I find more and more models to paint. Any tips on how to get that motivation back so I can get my space chickens finished?
Space chickens! The key with motivation is to not need it to paint. You just need routine. If you have a routine to paint minis, then you're never going to need motivation ever again.
If you have a routine to block what you're painting with your face, there you go. Monday night paint night is how I get things done. This is the first one this week I missed, and it's the first one I've missed in like a year, aside from being out of town for Gen Con. And I know that the paint stream is a good excuse for you to get stuff done too.
Absolutely.
It's a routine. Tuesdays, Scott paints. Starts at 1 p.m. Yeah, Dan, I thought about coming, but then I was like, I don't think I can actually hold a mini and paint it because my thumb was so swollen at that point. Luckily, it's not my mini painting hand that's swollen, but it still would require me to hold a mini in that hand.
Dan, when am I coming to the source to play the game? 7? Routine. Come home from work, shower, cry, paint, eat. There it is. Thank you, LV. That super friendly lady at paint night with the Miku sticker talked me into going next week. Is Hersher Mafk also from Minnesota?
Apparently, and that would be Dr. Hannah.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
Hannah
that
is very
super friendly
encouraging.
Lady.
Yeah, she's very encouraging.
Very aggressively proselytizes. Yeah.
Paint night or just the hobby in general?
Paint night. Paint night's her baby. Me and Michael help. She has a real job now, so she's like traveling sometimes and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, Bucky Miku. Yeah, it's Hatsune Miku, but crossed with the mascot from Bucky's. If you're familiar with the gas stations down the way of Texas and so on. Man, I got a couple here I want to read. Mazgar89 says, my struggle at the moment is coming up with my own color schemes. Seems like going for one of the most popular faction colors always looks better than what I come up with. Any advice for that, or just keep messing around to test up color theory and all? I will just say real quick, the reason that the army paint schemes look the best is because they take the simple, effective, tried and true color combos and they go, wow, look at our sub-factions. Black and red, red and white, blue and gold, like the classics. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, there's... I don't know. I don't really know what their process is for coming up with paint schemes, but like lately, I've like really been appreciating that process. Like, I always forget that when it comes to comic book artists, like there is a whole ass job about just painting, just coloring in the 2D illustrations. Like,
Yeah.
So it's like that is like a thing that's worth having a career over. And so the same can be said about miniature painting. That might like stress you out a little bit saying that, but it kind of empowers me. It kind of makes me feel better as a miniature painter. Like my job has like more meaning to it, like more artful meaning to it. If people are willing to pay for that kind of stuff in a 2D world, like surely in a 3D world, it also is valuable. But to answer your question, I mean, the last video I just made is great. And also the video I referenced in that video, coming up with a custom scheme for your Warhammer army, answers that question in a more succinct way than I'd be able to live. It comes down to a combination of things. It comes down to a combination of the lore inspiring paint choices, your favorite colors inspiring paint choices, color theory inspiring paint choices, other media inspiring paint choices, whether that's, like graffiti, whether that's other paint schemes from other models, whether that's 2D art, whether that's, sick VHS cover from the 80s, all that stuff inspires paint choices.
Yeah. Hot pink appears on a lot of Scott's armies and things because he likes hot pink.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's a great place to start when you don't know where to start. What colors do you like?
Isn't your upcoming masterclass isn't a part of that about like how to do color selection on the fly and so on?
Yes. So, and I actually wrote that entire part already. and I'm pretty proud of it. But yeah, that entire thing is, or not entire, but a huge portion of that masterclass course and when I paint the Rager is how I came up with that scheme and how I come up with generic schemes for any given models, display models, things like that, etc. I really drill down that process. Girl painting, back to the motivation thing, says I get my motivation by rotating the minis I paint. Death Guard, Space Marines, followed by Stormcast, back to Death Guard, maybe an Orc in there. Helps against burnout and painting the same thing over and over again. Minnesota, you say, Skull Vikings! Which starter box would you recommend for Song of Ice and Fire? Friends and I are thinking about playing the game. The new Stark Lannister one? Woo!
You mean the new separate Starks and Lannisters?
Oh, it's not the same thing anymore.
Yeah. So there's a 2-player starter, and that's the old sculpts. And it's an amazing deal, but it's the old sculpts. They have newer starter boxes with the Starks and Lannisters that have better sculpts, but you're going to pay 3 times as much.
Yeah. So, best starter sets, I think if you're talking about just single factions, it comes down to what you like personally. Just pick those ones. And it looks like there's only one actual 2-player starter set, but
the 2-player starter set is the best deal in miniature wargaming.
Yeah, but I wouldn't get it.
If you like Lannisters or Starks, that's what I would get. But recognize that all of the stuff you're going to get to follow up is of higher quality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm kind of a models first person a little bit, so I would prefer to get the nicer quality versions of the minis in the individual starter sets and pay more of a premium. That's me personally. So.
Yeah, I didn't start with the 2-player starter. I only finally just picked it up. It depends on, I mean, like if you're going into it just to play the game, then figure out what you want to play and buy that starter set. And if you're experienced with miniature war games, you probably don't need to skew towards a beginner friendly faction. But if it's like your first foray into it, the easiest factions to play are probably Night's Watch and Baratheon. They're very, very straightforward. You just do the thing, you play the game, and you learn to play or you get crushed. But it's easy, unlike something that's like a more of a thinking man's game like Martell or Free Folk. So they're all decent starters. So yeah,
I appreciate the hell out of a game that makes you work for it.
Yeah, Scott plays Greyjoys, which are one of the rougher factions
at the moment. We weren't always bad. Silence from Evan.
I can't attest to whether that's true or not. They've been bad the whole time I've been playing, which has been exactly a year. So,
guys, I need some advice. I've painted a chapter badge icon on a homebrew Space Marine shoulder pad. It's meant to be matte black on a metallic silver background, but it looks dull and boring. How can I make it stand out better? Don't use matte black.
Yeah.
Matte black is just inherently not as deep and rich as a more satin or glossy black.
And then that's not going to stand out on top of a metallic because now you're going to be competing with the sheen of the metallic.
Yeah. You could try, maybe if you're going to highlight that shoulder pad in any way, you could try introducing some color into that. Like, just take, like, I know it sounds weird, but like take any color and mix it with white and then mix that with black. And then you'll get something unique. And it may not seem unique, but it'll be different when compared to other typical blacks highlighted with just a neutral gray. And then use more of a satin black. It's gonna be darker and punchier, and it's gonna stand out more from that silver, for sure.
Or if you really want to torture yourself, you could do an outline around the matte black.
Sure, yeah.
Some sort of pop color that separates the silver from the black. It'll get you the result you want, but it'll also make you want to kill yourself. So your mileage may vary on that one.
Girl Painting also suggests to paint highlight the actual decal itself, which you absolutely can do. You already, like, the decal kind of already provides you with an outline for where the symbol should be. So like it isn't like real freehanding, it's more like a color book at that stage. which makes it easy. So that definitely is a solution. Get a nice
Scott,
bright
how late
silver.
do you want to go today?
Oh, is it late?
Yes, but I don't care.
What time is it?
It's 4:30.
Fuck.
We normally go about 15 minutes long. We've gone an extra 15 minutes long today.
In truth, I could sit here and paint skeletons for an eternity.
I mean, that's pretty much what you've fated yourself to by playing Soulblight Gravelords.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, we're going to paint skeletons for the next, 7 years. So.
I enjoy it. I don't know why. Yeah, we should be done. Okay, so I finished those 4. I'm never going to remember. Well, no, I will. I can just look. All right. You were also 20 minutes late. We were 20 minutes late?
We weren't 20. We went live almost on time.
Okay. I mean,
But we didn't cut to you painting for another, 10 minutes or whatever.
Chat, I was painting before we were live, let me tell you, so I'm going to blame Mevin on this one.
It's not my fault. We got to let people have time to come in and get greeted at the
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
The truth is we should be aiming to have the stream go live 10 minutes before the start time.
That's definitely doable.
And we can get there.
We can do that, yeah.
If stuff stops breaking and we stop switching programs every couple months.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're curious about that. vMix is expensive, bro.
vMix is expensive. It's a really great piece of software, but God, it fucking costs a lot of money.
So we're back on that OBS train.
And I'm not looking forward to the gaming stream this week, is what I have to say.
It'll be great.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I believe in Evan's wisdom.
Oh God.
There it is. Sigmar blesses you. Here are his words for this day. Child of the ordered world, the minute we think we went hard, go harder. We gotta work. That's Sigmar's advice for us regarding OBS. All right, that'll be it for today. We'll catch you this Thursday for a stream of A Song of Ice and Fire. If you didn't catch the gaming schedule, you can see it on my YouTube community or my Facebook. If I remember off the top of my head, it is Song of Ice and Fire, Guild Ball, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, Age of Sigmar. Or it might be AOS, then Warcry. There's 5 Thursdays this month. There'll be 5 gaming streams. Tune in for those, 7 p.m. CST, same place. And then every Tuesday, we're here, we're painting, 1 to 4 p.m. CST. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for your support through subs, through raids, through donations. I appreciate them all a lot, guys. So thank you so much. But I will catch you guys later for the Thursday stream and next week for Tuesday's stream. See ya!